Hello everyone, that was an amazing fade out, I'm just gonna say. Welcome back to the Lightbringers episode 36. Close to 40, we're almost there. 40 episodes of the Weekend Bringers, Lightbringers, which is in the chat, thankfully. Oh, that was, oh, if you heard that, that was my knuckles. I have 3 amazing. That was great.
Jeb, I just like that this time we didn't even try to mess you up. We said nothing.
No one has to.
You just distracted yourself.
I do. I am literally. It's because the kids they just fiddle all the time, and I'm just like, you know, I'm taking it on. They projected their fiddliness onto me, and I'm just like, what's this? And I just start throwing it like cans and grabbing quaggins and stuff like this.
The rest of your apartment is trashed. There are holes in the wall. There is paint on the floor.
Paint? I'm not painting my apartment. God damn it, no.
You don't need to paint your apartment to have paint cans around.
That's true.
Now I have so many questions for you, Kroof. Do you have paint cans lying around?
I plead the fifth. I don't know what you're talking about.
Today we're going to be talking about some stuff, but first I'm going to introduce you to our guests. We have Kroof, we have Crown Herald, aka Fornax, and we also have the Rook as well. Rookery. Uri. Tell us a bit about yourself and also what you do, where you do it. And also, I have not asked a question in the beginning of a podcast for a while. If you were going to have a snack in Guild Wars 2 whilst sitting on the pier in Canaan City.
This is so specific.
It is, it's very specific. What would it be? That is the final bit after you've introduced yourself.
Okay. All right. You've given me a big task here. Hi, everybody. I'm the Rook, aka Rook, aka Rook Uri, aka Rookery, as Jebro has dubbed me this day. I am a variety MMO broadcaster, but I focus mostly on Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy 14. I'm a ArenaNet partner, and I'm all about creating inclusive spaces that dive into all the things that we love about the games that we play, whether that be lore, endgame content, just chilling, having a good time, vibing, whatever it is. We dive into it. We have a great time on my Twitch channel and over on YouTube. You can find me everywhere, Rookery, Rookuri, except for Twitter, where I am Rookery_. So you have to add the little doodad at the end, Rookery_, but otherwise Rookery on the internet. And I would want to eat a healer's best friend, which is, sorry, the way I phrased that I realized. Okay, healer's best friend food, which is rice balls. I would want to eat rice balls.
Oh, okay, right. I was like, I'm gonna want to eat my healer's best friend.
A healer's best friend, rice balls.
Yeah.
Okay. Kroof is also here and returning. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and also same question.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, Fornax has more time to actually think about this.
I get so nervous. I'm never good with off-the-cuff questions. I can't improv well. Oh, hi everyone. I'm Kroof. I do a lot of YouTube videos over on YouTube, which you can find. I cover news. I cover other things, and I play the game, and I'm also streaming here on Twitch Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and on Saturdays I lead raids with a Discord, so if you're ever interested in getting into some raids, you can come on by. We don't bite hard, but you know, it's fun. And then as for the question as to what I would eat on the pier, you know, we're gonna stick with the
You're gonna stick with something. You've been there before, have you?
We're gonna stick with the ball motif, and I'll just say Bram.
You're gonna eat Bram and okay.
Wow.
I didn't even.
But I would.
Out of anyone as well, Bram.
Bram of all characters.
We could go
Bram
there.
has got a
Spicy.
steak. He got a steak.
He's spicy. He's spicy.
Yes, I guess spicy is one way we could say what Bram is. Yeah.
I would
I guess
also,
after-
you know, Dango, Onigiri to be in line. That'd be great too.
That's good. I mean, I guess after Iceberg Saga, he did get a little bit crispy seared. You know, he was fully cooked with the
So you want
Primordus
some cooked
merging.
balls?
So.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Welcome back, Fornax. As you can tell,
Hi.
nothing has changed.
No testicles are safe this VOD. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe that's why we've gone there. Actually, maybe that's why.
That was the theme.
Oh, I didn't get the link, the hark back. Okay, well, Fornax, aka, or the other way, actually, Crichton Herald, has joined us for the second time, is back. How are you doing? Tell us about yourself, intro yourself, and also tell us the same answer to the amazing question that I asked.
Okay.
If you need a reminder, let me know.
No. While you guys were talking, I went straight to the wiki. I'm Fornax. The Crichton Herald is my channel. I make videos. I make guides. I put one up today. Go to my channel, please. And
what was it about? You can't just say I made a video and then don't tell us what it's about.
Oh shit. Okay. So it's.
Oh yeah. By the way, I forgot to say at the beginning of the podcast. Try not to swear too much. I didn't even swear first. Yes.
Right. So I'm doing a throwback recap series for the lore. So I started with the personal story, the origin story, and Zaitan, and I've moved on to Dark Tales of the Tree Children, talking about Kaith and Kanek and Ciara and Wynn. Yeah. And I'm moving on next video, which I've got to write in a hurry because the expansion is coming out very soon, is going to try and push through season 2 and try and get a complete recap of the game before the new expansion launches. Fingers crossed. God help me.
You can do this. I believe in you.
Oh, I'm glad somebody does. And I
don't
will
believe
not be
in
eating.
you.
No. Thank you very much,
You
Deborah.
have to prove your worth on this podcast.
Fornax is British and knows my tone of voice. It's okay.
And I will not be eating anybody's testicles on any dock anytime soon. Sorry.
I'm disappointed, but all right.
Screeny if you do it. I'm going to have...
we don't know what you look like, so how are we going to know? And then there's just like this hovering kind of star thing everywhere. Or like your character, I guess. Yeah, that's true. We do know. That is kind of telling.
If Bram needs your services as a therapist, we'll know that Kroof has succeeded.
Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast. We're not going to get past the intro because we're talking about testes.
I'm going completely safe, so I don't eat meat.
Okay.
My poor husband, but apple passion fruit pie. Okay, so there you go. Apple passion fruit pie on the pier, nice and safe. Yep, there you go. That's it.
I still don't know what's happening. Okay, so
it's great.
I think we did a great job. I think this was good.
Yes,
I
if you want to, twitch.tv/JebroUnity is where you want to be to watch this podcast every week. If you want to, I stream Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Mostly I'm internship. If you do want to come support the channel, that's up to you. If not, check a follow, do all the things. Have a look as well on the Ye Oldie. I don't know, YouTube, Spotify and all that stuff. This is where, I don't know what I was going to say, Rook, okay? Don't give me that look.
You're rolling with it. You didn't have to, just do it. You keep going, you keep spinning.
No, Rook, if Jebro doesn't want your look, I'll take the look.
Okay, thank
you. You got the look, you got the power, etc. Transformers. Okay, so. Oh yeah, what would I eat on the pier? Omnonberry bars every day. They're good.
It's a good choice.
They give you extra luck.
I recently had a discussion about what Omnom berries are like or would taste like, which was an interesting thought because I had always imagined them kind of like a berry medley as far as the combined flavor went. Like, I don't know, raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, just kind of all in one thing. But then we had some people talk about the fact that they actually kind of look like plums, or they kind of look like figs, or like, I don't know, but now I'm thinking way too intensely about it.
Maybe
I love
that.
Fig Newton.
Okay. Omnom berries. Guild Wars 2. Let me just have a look. All right, that can be a discussion for later. We can talk about it. What do they kind of do look like plums? I'm not a plum fan, but plum.
Well, you would know. Yeah.
They keep you regular.
plum like bars, like fig bars as well. They're good. Okay, so let's do a podcast. We were everyone meant to be doing the Kainag live stream watch through right now, but it's not happening because they pushed it. They did push it. They pushed it real good. Unfortunately,
they pushed it and it twisted an ankle.
That was good, wasn't it? Unfortunately, it's next week, but that's okay. We'll still have it. 4th of Feb. They're putting it in the same month as the release of the actual expansion. Yes, we're still doing podcasts on End of Dragons, and we looks like we still have like 2 or 3 more at the very least, probably, because I feel like it's going to be the last day of the month. It's going to come out, or close to. But initial thoughts. Like, how did you feel about the we'll go on to the release date later, but we'll talk about first, like, just the live stream being pushed back. Anyone want to drop in and have a thought on that or a comment?
I think it's always a little, you know, if someone moves the goalpost or, you know, pushes something back a little bit, you're like, no, I want to reach it. I want to score. I want to get something. And, you know, everyone's a little hungry for more information, something new, because that's the nature of people who are excited about things. However, I don't think it's that awful. It gives them a little bit more time to make sure that they know what they want to show, to polish up some things that they still need polishing. But I think overall, like, it's fine, but they just kind of pushed it back for consistency reasons and, you know, to build that hype for February. So we don't have much longer to wait, but it was a little like, I wanted it this week.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to see it, but it does feel like they maybe pushed it to try and line up better with this release date unveiling and other things that are going to be happening in that first week of February to try and generate the most hype about End of Dragons and, like, really get the word out and really kind of roll with that momentum. So I feel like they probably just did it because of that. But I mean, at the same time, the fact that they gave us an outline of what we can expect next month to some degree, even if we don't have the actual expansion date as of yet, but very soon, I didn't feel bad about it. It's, you know, it's fine. It's not world ending.
Yeah, I broadly agree. I would imagine that the devs are running around like their asses have struck fire because the expansion is on the horizon. So if they have to push back a few talks to the community, as long as we get the information, I'm fairly forgiving. And, you know, good luck to them.
Yeah, make sure you get that message. Yeah. It's them messaging you. They're like, Fornax, we need you. Join us for the expansion live now. Okay, cool. Well, that's good, everyone. We have some opinions. What is my opinion? The only reason I was sad is because I had the podcast planned. It was going to be an easy week. I was like, I've got a hectic week ahead. I really need this to just go ahead, so I don't have to plan the podcast too much. And that didn't happen after last week's, where I had like 6 pages of notes, read like 15 articles or something, and it was just like, it was a lot. But yeah, it's not too bad this week. Okay, fine. Well, also, we found out the 1st of February. I'm going to read the thing, actually. Okay, let me read the post first of all. Let's just do this, okay. Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons last launch month for live stream schedule. Ooh, pre-launch, launch, live stream schedule. That's how you say it. You say schedule, I said schedule. Wait, how do you say schedule?
Schedule.
You say schedule. Oh no, I've changed.
Did you think we were saying schedule?
Yeah, bro. You've adopted the American way of saying it.
It's already creeping in. Soon you're going to be like, you got that over there? You want some butter?
Don't you? No.
You can never come home now. That's it.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah, that's the questions when you get off the plane. They're like, how do you say tomato?
Or they're like, have you shot a gun?
Yeah, yeah, probably.
And it's like, I killed 2 people. Welcome to America.
Oh my god.
Things got extremely dark, extremely fast.
Yes, thanks,
Joko.
New Kainang on 4th of February. That's going to be the tour, and then the Jade Tech Mastery preview on the 11th. So I guess the next 2 streams are going to be podcasts where we watch the live streams, which is cool. So that's good. They're planned out. And then music preview on the 18th. They're giving us a massive... I feel like they're giving us a big, like... I mean, it's not coming out before the 18th. We know that. Because if they're giving us... What's the point in giving us a music preview before... Hi, everyone. So here's a preview of the music you've already heard. That's not a preview. That's a post view. Or some kind of whatever. Okay, it's almost time to set sail for campfighting Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons, and February is packed with news and previews on the road to launch. There's a road. It's yellow. Last October, we published a live stream schedule with our planned dates for upcoming broadcasts. The new Canaan City map tour live stream has been rescheduled to February 4, followed by all the information on the final Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons Mastery line and an expansion soundtrack overview. Ooh. Now this is the one which is funny.
Big laughs.
On February 1, not first, because it has to be 1. No ST. You know, it costs per letter, I guess. On February 1, we'll review the release date. Reveal the release date for Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons. Follow us on Guild Wars 2, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for updates. So on February 1st, so they've given us a release date for the release date, which is... Yeah. I don't know if we've ever had that before. I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. Oh no, wait. Some people say at this live stream we'll talk about the release date or something sometimes.
Expansions.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they had said this several months ago, I think the reaction would have been very different to like announcing, days before the new month ticks over that the release date will be announced on, you know what I mean? It feels like the timing particularly made it this big meme, the release date for the release date.
Yeah.
Especially because you're releasing the release date the month of the supposed release date. So at that point, it's like, just give us the actual date and just get over with it. But it is strange. They like to kind of keep things in chunks. So maybe they want to just keep everything in the month of February to really like push that hype and not have this like 1 week of January where we start getting a little bit of hype for the actual release date. But at least they announced it, because that would have been really bad. Well, it would have been interesting to see if they did the new Kaineng stream and they didn't release the release date and they had actually already planned for it to be released, the announcement February 1st.
You okay there? No?
There was a lot of dates going around in my head, but yeah.
I don't think they're quite in the Star Citizen league of announcements for announcements. But
that's true.
I feel
no
like...
No one is, to be fair.
No, they have my money, those bastards. But
yeah, they've got mine as well.
I think that possibly they're setting us up for a pushback. I think that's probable.
Really?
Yeah, no, really? I do. I think they're going to push it back. Yeah.
Huh? Well, actually, I don't think so, because they would have already...
Can we let Crichton first of all state why they think that, maybe, and then you can come back.
Just kidding, of course you
having
can.
Having the releasing the release date so close to the release date. I mean, it's there's something odd with that in my mind.
When has ArenaNet done anything that's not odd though? If you're honest.
It's true.
I think raids with Heart of Thorns, that was pretty normal for MMOs.
Oh yeah, totally normal. Yeah, it's funny because I think, Jeb, you hit the nail on the head for me. They do so many things so strangely, at least in how we see many other companies deal with these kinds of announcements or deal with certain, types of content or releases. So to me, it does seem like something that would be very on brand for them in a general sense.
On brand. An on brand messing with your mind.
It's funny though, because I do feel like they almost felt that they had to state it, right? Because so many people, especially after those media tours and things like that, that information came out. So many people were just lambasting them constantly. Like I'd open up a new tweet from, Guild Wars 2 and the comments would just be, like a wall of when are you going to release, like when are we going to find out what the release date is, when are we going to do this, when are we going to know, like Reddit explodes about everything, but this was a huge thing. I mean, even some of the article writers were saying, you know, yeah, there's no release date yet, but we have more news coming. And so it felt to me like they were just trying to, they had maybe planned to always release the release date that day, but they were just trying to give people something that was an actual anchor to like kind of quell all of this discussion about it. I do hope that when they announce it, it feels like the way they announce it or whatever is going to be happening does accompany it in some kind of way that it feels exciting for everybody. I mean, this has generated a lot of conversation about the game, but again, it's one of those things where I'm like, I think we could have had even more positive discussion or like hype about the game if people weren't feeling so uncertain. So I don't know if I think it's going to be a delay. It does just feel like this is maybe what they planned, but they just had to state it because so many people were kind of up in arms.
I agree. And I don't think it will be a delay because within the actual blog post of them announcing the release date, they also had the updated infographic of the streams. So if they already had an idea that they were going to be announcing the release date on February 1st because of a delay, I think they would have also changed the final point of that, where they still have the launch day celebration in late February. So I think they would have already considered that and then kind of omitted that for the time being if they did already believe they were going to push it back. So I don't think anything has convinced me that we're going to get a hard pushback because of company decisions, but there's also the possibility of technical issues always popping up, but I don't see it like being something that they have already planned.
Interesting as well, comment from Bjorn in the chat. To be fair, in some places vacation times have been submitted weeks or months ahead, so those people need to know when it is. I still feel like this whole discussion about taking time off work and needing to know when an expansion is twofold for me. I'm like, one, you're a damn adult. You have responsibilities and work is a thing. Get over it. But then there's the Councillor Daniel / Jebro side of me, which has a massive amount of empathy for people that would like to spend time on going to enjoy their favorite MMORPG and they want to be there for release day, and that's also fine. But also, calm down. Like, just phone in sick or something. I don't know. I would have just done that.
Just quit.
I mean,
just quit.
Just quit.
To be fair, I've been in many working environments where just phoning in sick is like not an option. You know what I mean? Like it could put my job on the line, and or even when I was genuinely very ill and I called, my bosses were not compassionate or understanding at all, even if it was in like, you know, the rules of the workplace, right? So I totally understand that there are a lot of times that people, you know, they may not be in a flexible setting where they can really do that overall. And they do want to, you know, use vacation time on something that they consider to be fun. You know, like I want to play a game. I want to have fun. I want to just have these days to enjoy it and not be trying to like cram in at the end of the day and stay up all night and then try to go to work tomorrow. I always do caution people though, because whether or not you know the date months in advance, right? More often than not, especially with the pandemic, delays are happening left and right. I mean, we've had this with previous MMOs. We had this with 14 and Endwalker. You know, literally a handful of weeks before the expansion dropped, they announced another delay. And people had already taken off time. You know what I mean? So it is one of those things where I always caution people where it's just like, if you really, 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 really cannot take the time or it's going to be very difficult, schedule that time off later rather than like at release date, because more often than not, that release date could shift now and we have no idea, you know?
Yeah, that's another thing as well. And also like day of releases, it's like World of Warcraft, you know, classic. Like any MMORPG in Final Fantasy 14 was more queues, I guess. But like, that you just know there's going to be an issue, so like, and people will just get pissed off anyway. Guild Wars 2 is normally pretty good with release day stuff, so cross fingers. I think Fornax was going to say something. I saw the green go up around your screen.
I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, so I'm a big 14 player. I love it, but I waited for a week before I went in because 14,000 people in the queue. It's not fun. It's It's just not fun. And I always give the game a couple of days to get its shit together so that those massive trains of people can just push through and smash through, and then I can just tootle along in the back and enjoy myself and not be like fighting over everything, you know? That's my ethos though. I am lazy, so.
I don't know if that's lazy.
Hope. It's whatever it is. I just hope that with the release date, we get an actual cinematic trailer, a cool gameplay trailer, something to accompany that announcement. Because I don't think a trailer for New Kaineng would be enough to accompany it. Because technically, we would be getting a trailer for New Kaineng for that Friday. So I would like to see maybe a double trailer release, or do like the announcement on Tuesday with the proper CGI gameplay trailer of End of Dragons, and then the day after do the New Kaineng trailer. But I just really hope it's something that is more marketable than just like, here's a map trailer and at the very end the release date, because that wouldn't really, I don't believe would connect with a larger marketable thing and be like, look at this one map and an absence of gameplay or absence of CGI stuff.
Can I ask you guys a question? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, go.
Apologies. There's loads of trailers in the game. There's loads of cinematics and things. And in recent years, they've gone more towards character model-driven cutscenes, as opposed to the more artistically rendered, beautiful things that they did kind of closer to the launch and into
Like
Heart
core
of
game.
Thorns.
Yeah. Well, the more sketchy, kind of rough looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, illustrated.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Which do you guys prefer, and what are you hoping for in End of Dragons?
Ooh, good question. It's tough because I think the art style of Guild Wars 2 is an iconic part of the game. And I do love those, cinematics that have that more artistic sort of look to them. But I do also think that, especially with like Icebird Saga, while there were some stumbling blocks, but in that prologue, the animations and the cutscenes that they did, particularly with Smoder and a lot of the races, to me brought those moments like to life in a detailed, engaging, active way that sometimes I do think you miss out on with the artistic sort of shots, right? Because the artistry is oftentimes a little bit more kind of stills that sort of shift and might have, some other things within it. But this felt very much like active, dynamic, in the moment, witnessing a scene. And I think that really nicely kind of replaced what we had lost with some of those just like static characters standing in front of painted backgrounds, talking to other static characters, so I would like a mix, honestly, where we do still get some of those big sweeping, maybe like introductions to the city, and it's like, here's this beautiful painted artistry. But I would really like to see them continue with these more fully rendered cutscenes, because I think they add a bit of kick to the story and immersion to the story that is really engaging for people, and then leads you into more of the dynamic storytelling as you go around doing missions and stuff like that.
I would agree. Personally, I think I really loved Heart of Thorns launch trailer, that cinematic experience where the Mordrim's like, I am this world. And then there's a little bit of an action sequence. I really love that trailer. And I think Icebrood Saga's trailer kind of felt like that, but the animation was a little bit more, as you might have said, like stilted. It felt more just like image next image. So if they maybe went back to Heart of Thorns style, where it was almost like fully CGI, but with like a filter of that painterly feel, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And they kind of did it with the teaser trailer that we first got in like 2020, way back when. But the actual stream trailer that they showed us was a bit more classical CGI. I just felt like that trailer was missing a call to action or some sort of visual entertainment other than just looking gorgeous. I mean, the trailers are always gorgeous. So I just hope there's something that actually connects it to the narrative more strongly than the other trailers, especially because we're so close to launch.
I'm just wondering if I can maybe show it.
Pull it up!
I'm gonna show the Heart of Thorns one. I think...
How about you, Fornax? What did you think?
Yeah, that's true.
I think 14 has spoilt me, because I love the long, drawn-out plot moments. I love the fact that you get a warning on your screen. Sit the fuck down, get a cup of tea. You're going to be here for about 20 minutes, and this is going to be the shit is going to hit the fan, and we're going to get some massive story moments. And I love that. I absolutely adore it, and I would love to see more of that. That kind of commitment. If we're going to be story focused, if we're going to be driven in that direction, let's just commit and do it. And if people want to skip, give a skip button. Right? And just own it. And I like the idea. So I always feel like when I'm watching trailers that don't actually show in-game actual rendered footage, it's a cheat, it's a cop-out. Yes, there's an artistry, and yes, you can have that, but they're kind of selling the game on the premise of, like Elder Scrolls, they sell these beautiful CGI rendered cutscenes, and the game looks nothing like it at all. It's not recognizable. And don't get me wrong, I love Elder Scrolls, right? But it's a misrepresentation. So I prefer to have it so that we know what we're getting, we can connect with it, and then when we're playing the game and we're seeing those same avatars, we feel more like we're in the story. There's not that jarring knockoff as to, oh, this is really beautiful, and then in game, oh, it's all a bit shitty, you know?
And Path of Fire did that as well. And despite like the comments about in Path of Fire's trailer with kind of pixelated grass, they were like, oh yeah, to some people that might be bad, but a lot of people revered that as being very true and very transparent and not trying to mask the game. They were like, oh, you can actually see the pixels within the grass and it doesn't have to be photorealistic. And a lot of people enjoyed that. And I think you can have two sets of trailers, and I like when we have a gameplay trailer in-game, but I also really appreciate that artistic value that Final Fantasy XIV kind of perfectly hits with those long, drawn-out lore moments, fully rendered CGI, and then also gameplay trailers on the classes. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, people... I'm sorry, Jeb, did you want to... Go ahead.
No.
I was just say, people have different opinions on this. I even see in the chat that people are talking about it, right? I think that there is something to be said. I absolutely love 14, and I always say that one of its strengths is the way that it just went full in, and they said from the get-go, we're designing this almost as if it were a single-player Final Fantasy title. It is an RPG at its core, and we are going to tell a cohesive narrative that, you know, builds on itself over all these years. And so with that, you get a lot of cutscenes. Now, even as somebody that loves Final Fantasy XIV, do I think that there are oftentimes a ton of padded cutscenes that, like, probably aren't the most dynamic and probably don't have the most interesting things happening, and, like, you know, they could have probably cut? Yes. So, you know, I know that there are people who, in the reverse, although I love sitting and experiencing cutscenes, who may be drawn to Guild Wars 2 because Guild Wars 2 takes an incredibly different approach, where it's not as though you're having to sit there with this huge wall of stuff to watch and read and just, like, be passively witness to, you know, that you actually get to be engaged in the momentum and the movement, and that the storytelling is active and happening around you. So it's one of those things, again, where I don't necessarily think that they need to change completely how they do storytelling, but I do think there is really something to be said about knowing exactly when you need to build out a moment in a way that has more emotional impact, visual impact, the music, the cinematics, all that kind of stuff, to sort of guide characters and players through what this emotional and lore and narrative beat is, so that you really feel it in a way that if you're just, like, standing there and you're, like, jumping around as a character and somebody's yelling something 20 feet away and you don't even know what they said because they ran out of range, and then you were like, oops, and you run over that. Like, I think that you need to have those beats that actually guide players. So I do agree in that. I hope that they commit, because some of the storytelling in Season 4 and Icebird Saga, the ways they did that, I thought was so good from a narrative standpoint. So I want to see them keep doing that, but also, like, not completely lose what makes Guild Wars 2 unique in storytelling.
I think if they want to do on-map exposition, then they have to find a way to shut up the regular NPC barkers that are all around the city. That really does kind of jar and knock you out and interrupts, and you can't hear. You've got two conversations going on at once, which happened quite a lot. So I like the idea. I think they need to I enjoyed the game. Obviously, I play it play all the games that I play for the story, but I think they need to work on their engine or their delivery. And God, don't even get me started on Final Fantasy XIV's delivery of story, because it's a fantastic story. Oh my God, why aren't you fucking voicing everything? What the hell is wrong with you? Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
No, I mean, I was literally just talking about that on stream the other day with someone, especially with the budget that they have. There are a lot more things I think they could voice and they don't, which is very RPG, like especially JRPG-esque, right? Where many of the original games were unvoice acted, and like the idea of just reading a bunch of text, again, it doesn't bother me, I like it, but for a lot of people it can be something that like they just completely tune out with.
Too much. Yeah. It's too much. I'm like reading chat and I'm reading the flipping game. I'm just like, I can't do it. It's definitely better. Okay. I'm going to show the expansion trailer because I think maybe we could look and just see. I think personally for me as well, I like what Ukon said. I really love the Guild Wars 2 cut. It's not really a cutscene. It's just the core story where they did it, where they bring the two models in. One, I just like seeing my character like that in a big way and with the other character, and then the added art in the background. I think that takes a lot longer to do. But also, if you play World of Warcraft, there is an add-on where you can get the Guild Wars 2 look of your game completely, so you can get UI, and it also does that story part as well. So when there's a quest, it puts the NPC and you into the same way that it does in the Guild Wars 2 core story, and it just has a smaller window, and you just both standing opposite each other and just like, this is Guild Wars 2, but like, you know, World of Warcraft, sorry. This is actually really, really good add-on. If you play Warcraft, get the add-on, you know what I mean? Anyway.
I can confirm it does work. I have played it out. Yeah. It's
good. If I do, I haven't played it for a long time. We do need a switch. Yeah, we're gonna show the trailer, but like that, I like that, and also yes, the jarring, that is annoying as hell. It does happen in a lot of MMORPGs, so it happens in ESO, it happens in Final Fantasy, it happens in Guild Wars 2. I feel like it happens more in Guild Wars 2 sometimes.
Really? I would almost say the opposite, that I feel like Guild Wars 2 oftentimes looks more like it actually does, but that's just me.
What, it looks like what happens, sorry?
That like Guild Wars 2's trailers to me oftentimes look more like what you will actually see in the game versus like 14 cinematic trailers where many of the renders of the characters look almost nothing like their actual
I was talking
models.
about the voices and stuff, like the trailers like, oh no, I didn't even say anything about trailers. Trailers wise, cinematic trailers are cinematic. That is what they are. That is a overarching big story, not true to what is the typical probably in the film or anything else, because they're telling you something in a specific way, like cinematic, right? I don't mind overall like just going away from the gameplay and stuff like that. I know what Fornax is talking about the ESO trailer, because yesterday they had their massive release for the whole year, and good lord, you might as well just be watching a CGI movie. Like it is like ridiculously good. And then you go to the game and you're like, damn, ESO is feeling a little bit dated now.
Why are there 5 chunky pixels around the character?
The environments and stuff, I think, live up to it, but like the character models, especially the chunky, like they need to update some of that. They show me the most beautiful Bosmer woman in that trailer. They showed me, oh gosh, was it Chimera in the Elsewhere?
Yeah.
Where like she's a Khajiit and she's rendered so gorgeously, like her little motions and like her little, you know, animalistic little like it's so incredible. And then you start up and you make a Khajiit and you're like, how is mine supposed to look like that? Mine looks like it's out of a garbage can.
It's weird because like it came out a year after Guild Wars 2. I mean, I know they had a long time. The thing is, they based it a lot off Skyrim and that kind of aesthetic as well. So it was based off of an old look anyway, and it's still weird. I don't know. It's we're talking about graphics. What graphics when you enjoy the game and the story anyway? But still, yeah, it's still weird. Like you still want the game to look good. Guild Wars 2 can get away with it because they've got art style. They just can't animate characters running very well. Anyway, well, most humans are like literally just like bent over all the time. I don't even know why. They're just like forward. I'm gonna bring the cameras back so you can see. It's my impression of a human running. You know, like they do this. They've got their arms up, and then they like push their chest out, and then literally like diagonal, like that. Go and like, get your human male character, and it's literally all about your ass. It is.
It's like a Naruto run, just minus the actual like arms in the back.
The back bit.
It's weird.
It's true. Go and watch it.
It's so astonishing because the mounts are rigged exquisitely, aren't they?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I will always get passionate about the rigging of these mounts, and I'm so glad you brought it up because, like, I have not seen another game, an MMO specifically, that has nailed a diversity of animal anatomy and like the weight and movement and shifting of all these different creatures and the different skins that they have for them, sometimes which are very different creatures, like, and have their own idle animations and everything. Like in most games, it's just like, here is a thing that looks like a cat and it just runs and flies the same way. So yeah, it's very funny. The mount animations are out of this world. And there are maybe, yes, a few older hang-ups with some of the character animations.
Somebody just like to really put high up butts. That's somebody's kink right there.
Who doesn't? I'm fine with it, you know?
That booty be making me do things I never wanted to do.
Okay, I'm going to show the trailer now.
Is it of booty? No? Sad.
Okay, so this is, I'm not sure if this is the launch trailer for Heart of Thorns, and I know you can't hear it unless you watch the streams now, shut up.
I know the dialogue. That's so good.
I love this.
Great tone.
Who will serve the jungle dragon? We serve no one.
This is kind of that hybrid you were talking about, isn't it?
Yeah. This is between both. This is the sketchy art style of Guild Wars 2 mixed with like a full-on CGI kind of like, I don't know.
And the models look pretty true because they're not going for photorealistic, they're going for a stylized feel.
And the backdrops and things, that's where you get a lot of that sense, the environmental stuff with the actual kind of painterlies.
That was a bit more cartoony, anime-esque, that kind of like fireball, whatever the hell that was. Yeah, Hadouken. Ritlock does look pretty sick there as well, to be fair.
And this was in Dragon Stand. I think this trailer was made very early on too. Because originally Dragon Stand looked more like this, and then it went through a big change.
And we lost lanes. I'm still bitter about that. And we lost half the fight.
Yeah.
God damn.
It's so sad.
Oh, I just love the final shot with him. I love Mordramoth's design.
You know when you really want to just design the last bit of that slide, like the last bit of that video, you just want it to be like that he just takes a couple of steps forward, totally misses, and just gets splattered. Yeah. Like that would just be funny.
That trailer is so good though, because it even just that one moment where there's that figure, which obviously ends up being kind of like one of Mordramoth's servants, right? But as you're like working your way up and the vines are crawling up and it's creating this sort of humanoid form, and that line about, you know, you are my creatures, it's time to come home, that whole thing. And at the end, it's like they kind of fake you out because the head obviously is just like one of the minions, creatures in the woods, but the fact that it actually, or in the jungle, but the fact that it actually ties into everything that would be revealed about the Sylvari and that we'd already been working towards, and that it kind of parallels that. Again, you just get like an idea of the stakes and the threat and the themes and the tone of the expansion from that one trailer, which is great, and the characters that are going to be featured in it, which is really nice.
Do you want to see
They
the
played-
Path of Fire one as well? Sorry if one actually can go.
No, go for it. I was going to say they played such a long game with the narrative, right from day one, from launch. The Sylvari, they knew what they were going to be. They knew they were dragon minions, and they played it so beautifully right up. And there was all sorts of little oddness and hints, and I love that. I've done I've got a whole series of Sylvari lore videos. I'm mad about that.
I'm gonna play the Path of Fire one because I'm hyped now. Now I'm like, ooh, because I forgot about that trailer. See how similar it is. I think this is more in game actually.
It's all in game.
It's a powder keg over there.
And this is the tonal shift that I was talking about, as it was super painterly with the character creation cutscenes, and then they seem to have gone full for the sort of like rigged in-game characters. And I think I agree with you, Rook. I think a hybrid version, especially for their marketing material, I think is the way to go.
This be your first god fight?
Yeah. I think there's only so much you can do with this. That's the only problem. You can only do so much. And all of this is based in the instances probably a lot of the time. Sorry. Do you know what I mean? It does become difficult with character models at times.
The consequences will be.
I'm not a huge fan of this trailer.
Same. It doesn't give me the same hype as Heart of Wands.
Because I feel like this trailer relies a lot on the story beats, and they use lines from the story.
This bit was cool.
Beat him on our own.
Yeah.
This bit was cool because it gave me the goosebumps and just got them again. Like the people on, on the mounts, because you're like, oh, there's mounts in this expansion. Yes, we're riding along with you. Sorry.
The music was really good. The cue times for when the music, amps up is really nicely done.
They could have showed that last half.
I think it's amazing how they went from a game that swore off never having any mounts in the game to the genre-leading mount game, like by far
expansions
the best
and
mounts in any
raids,
game.
and then everything. They went back on everything.
Which, I mean, a lot of companies do, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that you say early in your development where you're just like, oh, yeah, we'll probably never do this or this. And then as you get into it, you start going, oh, there actually is a big demand for that. Or, maybe they realize that the other games that are on the market offer those things and they're trying to scope out what they could offer otherwise. And they're going, oh, maybe we should actually put this in or we should integrate this. So, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that they evolved. I think it's a really good thing. It is interesting. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I totally agree with you. It's a huge strength to know when you've took a wrong path and decide to totally change. That's brilliant.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad.
And yeah, I agree. I think this trailer did feel like, I mean, kind of like you were saying, Fornax, it feels like it went a little bit too far full in game, which again isn't bad because Kroof, like you were talking about, it's nice to actually see something that does look like what you're going to be getting. And like Fornax had talked about, we'd all been talking about this idea that like sometimes it can be jarring, that gap between the game experience and the immersive trailer experience. But I do think that there's just certain nuance to the artistry and the character expressions and stuff like that that you really can't get unless you push it a little bit further than just in-game stuff. Because when it comes down to it, in an MMO, because of all the players, because of the servers, because of the zones, because of the stuff, like you are never going to have this perfect, expressive like experience where you can get to the level of a cinematic trailer. Maybe not for many, many, many more years, like within an actual MMO, just because of everything it has to juggle with its environments and story. But I do think they could have pushed it a little bit more in the direction with that one of some of those key scenes being more of a hybrid, because it does feel like you get tired of just seeing people stilted run around the map a little bit. Like, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
And I think in the first half of that trailer, a lot of the shots were just showing the elite specs, and it felt almost fluffy. And it's funny because I'm like, End of Dragons has no action. I think Path of Fire's trailer maybe did a little too much useless action because it was just the elite spec trailers, which is, I think expansion trailers should really settle in the story while not really pulling a lot from the actual story. It's weird. You kind of have to like retell the narrative that you already have set up through like CGI, like masterfully crafted. You have to hit like the introduction, rising action. You have to have a little bit of the climax and even show a bit of the conclusion in a trailer to kind of like get a full sense of what the product you're buying.
That's the thing, right? Like, what is the trailer? What should a launch trailer be? Is a launch trailer for the fans of the game, or is it to pull new people in? And this is an interesting part of the conversation, actually. Well, actually, I was messaged, Reader Geek actually messaged me this the other day. I bet I've deleted it now. Oh no, it's Gratcheru is talking about, if you don't know who Gratcheru is, that is Josh Jackson. Josh Davis, he's in the... His Twitch ID is that I just said, and he was in my T-Boss channel the other day and said something about the launch actually, and said sorry about the release date. Said there is a plan for announcing the release date, don't worry. This is quote of them in a public area, so this is fine. This is not like some weird NDA breaking shit. I totally understand the frustration with not knowing the release date. Trust me, I've personally taken time off so I can get my Cheeto Dust Finger gaming going. Like with Guild Wars 2 launch, we need to make sure the announcement is a big moment for us and goes well beyond just our core audience. So the marketing team is working hard on that. So that's a big hint as to what they're trying to do with this launch. They're trying to appeal more people. For this game to be successful and to continue to be successful, we need to pull people in, and that is just something that we always need to do. And if they need to delay that by a little bit of time in terms of telling us the release date, I think that's okay, as long as they're prepared. As long as they're kind of like, and obviously they are like, you know, this may cost us a little bit here without having that release date out there so soon, versus, you know, it's kind of like it's like that balancing game, isn't it? Like, do we say the release date is coming out later or earlier? Do we want to draw people in? How many new people are we drawing in? How well are we doing at doing that? Or do we concentrate
global
on the
domination?
People we have? Well, I mean, it's like, what do we do? Because like at the moment, like it just feels like there are new people come into the game all the time. I mean, you can play it for free. When Steam comes up, you know, that should be their big push for new players, I think, personally. Because they probably don't have to do much of a push. You know, he's good. Hi, Steam, boom, there's your push. You know, you put a trailer out, you do the things. You don't need to do it doesn't feel like you need to do a massive amount of extra work because Steam is its own beast. So, and we're going to be able to play Guild Wars 2 mobily soon as well, Steam Deck. Sorry.
Ooh. Sorry, I always feel so happy when I see that they're advertising the game at all, because I feel like they don't ring their own bell enough, do they? You know, they need a bit of Trumpian self-promotion going on here, because it's a fantastic game and they just don't they don't evangelize for it enough.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's so much to offer in this game, and especially the level of quality that they are able to achieve with the fact that it is probably one of the lowest cost MMOs on the market right now to you personally to like play or engage with and not have to subscribe to and all these things. And it's one of the few MMOs where I feel like, again, that quality is not compromised because of it. I mean, there are obviously certain limitations that creates in what they are capable of doing, but it's not like many other games where you hear that mantra in the MMO community where like, oh, it goes free to play, like that's a death knell, you know? Like, it's not that kind of thing. It's something where they've really actively worked to make it just more and more accessible, and yet are still doing something really unique and really worthwhile. So I too really hope that this timing of stuff, and it's important to note that tweet from Grouch was technically, or the comment was technically asked to be taken down from Twitter, and so we can't again say that is something that is an official source. Oh, that
was a Twitch chat. Yes, comment,
but
Mark.
But it got online.
Yes, he then put it on Twitter.
People had to take it down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't actually see that. Well, that's not my fault.
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, like, it's fine. It got said publicly, you know, like people know.
Yeah.
it's important to know that that's not anything official and that
of course,
you know,
of course.
But I mean, I hope that they do come out swinging with this. I hope we get a full trailer, because I actually loved the trailer that we got for End of Dragons. I think it's beautiful. I think it does have a gorgeous style to it. But again, is it going to be that thing like we talked about last week that like hooks players in and gives you an exact sense of what you're going to be facing and what role you're going to play in it? And it's like, you know, just a general, like Kroof, like you said, that perfect balance between not being hyper specific, but also really giving you the feeling of what you're going to be doing and the importance of it. I hope that we get to see more with that, and that they really line up all their information and or have some big thing that we're going to get that will just really, really bring people in and catch people's attention.
Well, My Trin was a bit of a deep cut, wasn't it?
My Trin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's on the ship, dear. Did you watch the trailer? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you're referring to the strike boss or not.
Yeah, I am. She's part of the Heart of
Yeah,
Thorns.
both. Yeah.
But sorry, the End of Dragons trailer. She's on the ship as it goes out. It's a bit of the hype trailer, I guess would it be called?
Yeah, and it was so funny to me that with that, it's not like, I don't know, you'd expect that for anything else where they were like any other trailer in any other game or something where they were bringing a character back, you'd have some kind of tagline or something where it would be like, My Trin, the leader of the Aetherblade Pirates, or, you know, like there'd be some things like, what are you doing in Cantha? And then you get like a mysterious shot of her face or something like, wouldn't you like to know? Or I don't know. Like,
Scene transition.
Yes, it's so funny because we have these little visuals of things that seem relevant, but we don't actually really know at all, or like people who might not recognize those characters or those things on site probably have no idea who they are or like what it means unless they're big lore nerds.
Well, there's community Well, there's a note in game that she might be Marjorie Delacroix's sister, a secret sister.
Yeah.
So.
But again, that's not something you would ever get from the trailer. And we don't see like Mai interacting with Marjorie. We don't even, hold on, I'm thinking, do we even see Marjorie and Kaz in the trailer they released? I don't think we do.
No.
Maybe in passing.
What for
Not in the
End
trailer.
of Dragons?
No,
Yes, the trailer
I
they
don't
did.
think so.
Let's go and
Which
have a
is
look
very
then.
It's very strange to me. Like if they are the poster characters and or are like major players in this expansion and have, I mean, we do know that Marjorie is at least of Canthan descent, even though her family, you know, obviously had lived in Divinity's Reach for a while, I think. But it's one of those things where we don't even know how they connect to this.
Yeah.
Or like if they're going to be interacting with any of these figures.
Yeah, so she is a resident of Divinity's Reach. She was in the Seraphs. She is part of the Dermot Priory. I have to say, massive props to ArenaNet for leading for the two main characters leading us into the expansion being a gay couple. I just
know.
fucking love that. It's amazing.
I know. And we have a confirmed agender character coming. I mean, I cannot sing those praises enough either alongside you, because so few companies will even one, put women as the, you know, lead promotional. You'll see trailers where like in many companies, it's just like the generic man that they pretend is the protagonist for everybody.
I mean, look at the color scheme. Look at the color scheme of this expansion trailer. It's all rainbows and like that kind of LGBTQI plus theme. You know, it really is. Like, I mean, it is. I mean, look at Aurene, the weapons, the glow we get, like that kind of stuff. There is definitely that vibe to it, and I totally agree. Like, more companies need to do stuff like this. They really need to show. Like, I think in this, I'm trying to word this in a really, really, really good way. I think this takes a lot of bravery because of how people react to stuff like this. Because if you're not like within those communities and you don't understand and that you're just an arse, then there's gonna be comments about it, right? And I feel like I'm in that. Yes, I completely agree, Rook. I kind of took over your point a bit, but like, you know, it's just ridiculous. Like, yeah, like gay couple and like just everything. Like, it's like ESO brought in. They had a really, really new NPC. One of the NPCs had like a wheelchair fashioned out of like different parts of like this. There was a whole story about this NPC specifically as well, and it was just like, you know, having all these themes and expansions and just people being empowered in different ways, it was just like, a wonderful thing, and I hope it happens more. Hopefully.
I agree.
Hopefully. Okay, release date of the release date. So we have on, I don't know if we've got much to talk about on this. We have on the 1st. We kind of talked about this, I guess we have. What do you think about there being a release date to the release? What the fuck?
Sudden loud noise.
Sudden loud noise. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this? I'm gonna go in. Should be fine.
It's not too far away. So I'm vibing. I'll eat some food in the meantime, work on some videos and stream, and yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we did talk about it earlier, you know. I'm not that upset, and we'll figure it out. And like we said, I hope that they do something big for it and that it really does get people excited.
To be clear, so on the 1st of February, they're announcing the release date of the expansion, which is supposed to be later on in February. That's correct, right?
Yes. As far as I understand.
Okay, yeah. Push that sucker back, because I've got so many videos to make.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
I know. It was so funny because we talked about the 14 delay earlier, and honestly at that time they were like, you have 2 more weeks before it comes out, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad, because I was working on like a huge project, and I got to tell everybody, I was just like, we have 2 more weeks to get this edited and done, everybody. Like,
2 weeks is good time too. That is solid time.
I keep threatening to make Final Fantasy XIV content because I'm absolutely in love with the game. Yeah.
Do it! We can use your voice in the space, honestly. It's so funny to me. People get so like, I mean, I think even communities have trouble dealing with the fact that people play more than one game. But when it comes down to it, most of us play more than one game or have in our life.
It's funny. I started playing when the game was terrible at launch. So I've actually been in the community a long time, but I've never had the cojones to actually make content for it. It's the same with World of Warcraft. I've played since it launched in Europe in 2005, something like that. Yeah. And I've made like 7 videos about it. I'm just totally intimidated.
Well, because there's so many people.
Monsters in that community, so yeah.
Well, hard to break into communities that have a large base and have a large social media, system.
I'm happy in my tiny little pool of people who say nice things, and occasionally people telling me that they masturbate to my voice. That is my level of internet.
Material
Phonex, I'm trying to keep this clean, please. Please, you're making me sad.
Sorry. I think people would say those things anywhere, because you are wonderful and your voice is amazing.
We do have double entendres and stuff, but we don't try not to go too out there with the
We share lived experiences. We share lived experiences for now.
Yes, to be clear, I have not solicited this, and the only reason I've made it clear that I am a married lady is so that people will not ask and tell me this.
Yeah. You two are lucky, because people just go out of their way to tell me that they find my voice unbearable. So I'm over here having fun. I know.
That's YouTube comments, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
YouTube.
Well, what the flip are you
YouTube and Twitch
watching?
comments that get moderated. I mean, it depends. I think sometimes people find that if like there is a very actively passionate, upbeat, engaging female voice, they will just absolutely lambast it. If you're not like making yourself sound perfect for a lore video, or like, oh my god, look at this.
Why is it every time you do California voice, you go, oh my god? It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
is the
I'm feeling
thing.
really offended, Rook.
I'm so sorry.
Like,
this is my go-to.
Really not vibing with it.
Kroof, I'm so sorry that I've misrepresented the dialect and area that you're from. I will try to improve and try to be better. Okay.
Honestly, I've been accused of like you're putting on a voice, you're whispering or something. This is how I sound. This is just how I. This is
also if you're voicing something, you do it's a performance piece. Yeah. It's a performance, for God's sake. What do people expect you to do? Yeah, I'm just going to read it in the style of Elf doing, and I don't know, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just not do it? I mean, like, this is like,
And like, I don't know what to
understand.
tell people, but like the way I am is just the way I am. I resonate very much with Angie's comment in the chat. If they don't tolerate me when I'm loud, they don't get to enjoy me when I'm quiet. Because when I'm like on screen or something, like this is just who I am. I was a theater kid. I do jump in and out of bizarre characters because sometimes I just want some facet of something that amuses me. I'm changing up the soundscape. I'm excited. I'm, being dramatic. I'm being whatever. And yes, I do all of this when I'm playing the game alone. My partner comes in all the time and it's like, are you talking to someone? And I'm like, no, I'm just playing the game. It's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's
I
good.
try and be conscious of the fact that a lot of people, I get a lot of foreign people watching the content. So I try to articulate. I try not to kind of, because if you're just talking normally,
You're
you
so
your
English,
words
you are.
mush.
You're so English, foreign people. Like, it's such an English thing to
Tip of
say.
the tongue, the teeth, the lips, particularly.
Oh shit! I've just got cancelled, right? International people. Fuck! I've got no hope. I'm gonna shut up now.
right. So trailers, End of Dragons
Good.
release.
Release date
Sorry,
and release
sorry.
date.
No. I mean, I honestly loved that I think brief
I-
jaunt into a different topic. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think the End of Dragons trailers haven't been things that I've really felt were.
Whoa. Steady on there. Steady on.
Whoa,
All
whoa,
right.
whoa, Jabba, whoa, whoa.
What about
Whoa,
this
whoa.
one? This trailer is amazing.
The
isn't
teaser
it?
one?
Yeah.
No.
It's got the music. What do you mean no?
No, that's not the teaser. That's just the expansion trailer.
Yeah.
I think the End of Dragons trailers so far have been some of not that they're bad.
No. Wait.
No. I'm trying to hype this game up as much as possible. And let me be clear, I'm very hyped.
Before you say anything, I just need to get your face on the thing. Can you do the face you just did?
I don't know what face I did. I'm not constantly. Well, I'm not. I wasn't looking at my face that time. I was like, "Whoa!" It's
Come on, the
not.
only reason you'd go and look at the stream is to look at your face and see if you look
Yes.
good. Let's be
Not
honest.
to read chat, just to look at me. But
Yeah.
fair.
I think that the End of Dragons trailers, in my opinion, despite how much I am really excited for this expansion, and we all need to sing our praises of our excitement, especially this month, I have been disappointed in these trailers. I felt like they've fallen fairly flat in terms of the actual meat of what they have. It's very artistic, it's a gorgeous art piece, but I need meaning behind it.
What do
or
you
else
need,
it-
Griff? What is it you need? What is meaning
someone
for
to
you?
talk to just hold my hand in the dark night.
Do you think
But,
it's very vague and very like Passover-y, kind of like, here is
Very
some
vague.
clouds and a dragon, and then there's this person, and they're looking into the clouds with Sky.
It's very vague. It's almost like we're just seeing snippets of almost like the mists. Like we're just kind of taking a tour of different islands, and there's no connection between them. They feel the expansion trailer, I think, would have fit better as their teaser, but they already had their teaser back in 2020. So when they did show the expansion trailer, I was really expecting a little bit more of a sense of why we're even going to Cantha, because we missed out on that with Icebrood Saga. And that's why I have high expectations of an expansion release trailer. I hope that is where it brings, because so far the trailers for End of Dragons have not been my favorite. I think Heart of Thorns did really well. And even going back to the base game, core Guild Wars 2's trailers were out of this world. They did go a little extreme. They showed like Zaitan in the first trailer, which was a little bit of a they jumped the gun a little bit, but yeah.
Man,
that's
I
my
use that
overall
footage
opinion.
so fucking much. in
Yes,
all my
they
content.
did.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. It does feel very generic. And I mean, I want to maybe advocate a little bit on one hand. I'm gonna argue both sides, I guess, because I do think they've shown, at least if we're talking about, and we pointed out earlier, that we like an idea of a hybrid of both in the advertising to some extent, right? I do like that at least the Elite Spec trailers we've seen and stuff have made use of the in-game footage, so you have an idea of how things look. I like that a lot of these streams have even, you know, shown us some of the cities and stuff like that. So again, we're seeing the in-game. It's not like it's all just banking on some cinematic stuff and a bunch of concept art. And I do actually think that the quality of the trailer is outstanding as far as the artistic, you know, rendering of it. It's beautiful. I see my beautiful dragon daughter. She is sparkling. She is rainbow. She is just a gift. She's just amazing. And all the different color palettes and the look of it is fantastic. But I do 100% agree with you in that, again, this doesn't feel like the thing that's going to draw me into who I am, what I'm doing, what I'm going to be a part of, what my struggle is. It doesn't even tell us. I had not realized until we talked today that Marjorie and Casimir are just not in it. And if they are like the two characters that you have on all of your like your website and your release art and stuff, it feels like they are playing their cards too close to their chest on this, where they just didn't want to give away, I guess, a hint of how this was all supposed to be coming together. But at the same time, because of that, it just doesn't give me anything to really like cling to and to really go, oh, wow, like this is the thing. Oh, I can't wait. We don't even know if Bubbles is a thing. Like you would think that maybe at the end we'd like go down under the water and there'd be bubbles and you'd see a stirring in the depths. And that would again be that like cliffhanger momentum moment. But we don't get any of that. So it does lead me to believe that maybe on the first we might get something more like that, and that this would have almost been the teaser to the teaser of the you know what I mean? But I mean, either way, I think the story is going to be great and fantastic. But yeah, you just want something to dig into as you get hyped.
I think the problem is they're talking to me. I am a deep nerd. I know who Kunabang is. They showed us the first picture. I knew it was Xingji Island. I knew exactly where we were going. I made 2 lore videos before they'd even announced it, and they wouldn't even promote them because I kind of jumped the gun. So, bastards. But they're talking. But they're talking to me, right?
You know, they do watch this. I'm just saying. I often get messages from devs. I love your podcast.
I do love them. I have a huge amount of respect for them, but
good call.
They wouldn't promote yeah. But look, they've got my money. I've given it to them already. I feel like they're just talking to the small community that plays Guild Wars 2, and unfortunately, it is a small community, and I want to see it grow. So I want them to extend that reach. Yeah, it's great to see Kunabang. Fantastic. I played the original campaigns as well. It's awesome. I can make 3 videos about Kunabang, but I don't think that that's going to bring someone in from Final Fantasy because they don't have that emotional connection to it from playing it back in 2004, 2005. So, you know, I think that what they need to do with the videos going forward is entice people, show people this beautiful world, this story, and why they should give a care, right? Why they should care about it and why they should come and play the game.
I mean, even the fact, like, this is such a silly thing on the surface, right? But one of the things that drew me to this game, as far as like, if I'm going to be a hero in this world, what makes me unique is the fact that you are a Dragon's champion. And yet, in like all of this, and in all the trailers, I mean, probably for some of the stuff they did with season 4 and things like that, we probably saw some of this. But again, and like a big thing here, the idea that if this is going to be End of Dragons, and if they want players to have an idea of who their commander is, to even start off a trailer or something, you know, like talking about the dragons and or the the special relationship that you have with Aurene, or any of these different selling points that would make people go, what will make me feel cool in this world? Or, you know, what is the thing that I'm going to be able to pit myself against? It is very difficult to get that sense. And I don't know how many trailers you have to do to get that. I don't think you have to do all that many, you know? But
well, I mean, like the Icebrood Saga trailer, I think they showed this at the thing, which is obviously where we were and we watched it. I think they showed this trailer. I'm not sure if you can see on the screen right now. Did they show this trailer at the event? And this trailer was really, really good, actually. Continue point. Sorry, it was like when you said trailers, I was like, oh, actually, the Icebrood Saga trailer was pretty good.
It was good. They showed it at the reveal event that we were at.
Okay. Well, this was
yeah.
like big. This is like, you know, and the art style is kind of something which we were talking about before. Very sketchy, kind of like old school Guild Wars 2 kind of core game. More stills and like with some, I guess,
to protect.
I guess like I really still enjoy that art style of like the intro. So when you make a character, the first thing you do, like every single week when I make a key character, I watch that normally. I always normally watch it because I'm just like, oh, so nice. This was a good trailer.
Oh, I would like to know is, where's that content? Because I want to play that game.
I know.
Oh,
Don't even get me
yeah.
I know.
I think
We
the
could do a whole
trailer,
other one.
the trailer had so much potential with like, oh, when we're going to fight centaurs, what is this ship? Are there like crate in the water? There was so much potential with this trailer, and I think this trailer might actually be a good representation of what was expected of
This
the
is
Iceberg
odd,
Saga.
isn't it? Yeah.
They had
like,
to kind of cut a lot of this though, but I did a video actually like, I think trailers, good trailers, essentially show you the entire experience.
This is the Heart of Thorn style.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
They didn't go as much into it because it is kind of almost stop motion-y, a little stuttery, but this shot in particular is very reminiscent of Heartthorns.
Yeah. And this one.
What's the bet? What's the bet, do you think, that the stuff that didn't make it into the Icebrood Saga is being pushed, please God, into the End of Dragons? Because obviously,
I don't think they even would have got around to
drop
producing that. I don't think they got around to making it. I think they made less, a lot less than they
Well,
went
we
to.
did actually see, I mean, if anyone peruses the art station, I saw some unused maps that they had to take down real quick.
Oh. I mean,
And
it's
it was so sad because there was like so much possibility with the map images that I saw.
Oh, they
it's so
made maps,
unfortunate.
oh.
It really feels like the Icebrood Saga was meant to be the scale of an expansion. And like whatever bigger discussions there are about whether or not they were going to switch fully to Saga or not, or whatever it was supposed to be, I mean, it could have just been that they wanted to have this huge meaty thing. And then when they figured out there really was going to be this expansion, they were like, this will be even better because we'll be able to put it in. But it just feels like, yeah, there was a lot they didn't get to realize with it. And I think that story has so much potential. I think there are parts of it that just shine. I don't know if it'll make it into End of Dragons, to be honest, because I think the themes and everything else are so very, very different and in such contrast to what they seem to be wanting to do with Cantha. I think maybe some of the lore stuff we didn't get to touch on, or things about the dragons, or things about, I think that might show up, but I can't imagine that some of those additional things that we just saw there that literally weren't in the saga will like be in the next. I don't,
maybe
know?
the ship stuff.
Maybe
it's like Naga underwater, and just replace the crate with Naga. We could see some underwater like shipwrecks or whatever. But a lot of the other stuff, I don't think so. I think they're gonna try to put a cap on Icebrood Saga as hard as they can so they can move on. And I think it's actually kind of better if we all move on. We have to accept and move on.
Well, the thing is that it's funny because you say move on, but they actually promote it to the fact where it's actually the most repeated part of the game right now, probably story-wise, if you think about it, because of the return to achievements. Like you have to replay the entire thing, and you have to go and replay those maps so much to get. Like it's not just like a day like stream fit. Like, you know, it's gonna take a long time to do that. Like, that's a lot of stuff, and you have to replay the story. You have to replay. But I feel like when I replayed it, when you hit those, though, because you didn't hit every instance, did you? You hit like the major turning points, like the main story beats, and there was a couple missed here and there, but you did hit some of the main bits and bobs. And I was like, oh, this actually feels a little bit better playing through this way. This is a little bit less long-winded in places where it probably didn't need to be. But like, I don't know. I feel if that whole thing, that whole achievement thing, I'm redoing that, like just randomly changing the subject on something completely not related, was just, I think I've said this many times, it was actually a stroke of genius, to be fair. But yeah, you do have to go replay it. But in terms of like, I guess, trailers, if I'm trying to get us back onto task a little tiny bit by taking us off, then bringing us right back in. Talking about trailers and content previously, I think there was a lot of hope from me that this was not going to be similar to Path of Fire in terms of like marketing and everything else. I feel like they've done better with the betas and with the amount of access we've had, and like they were on such a roll. They were like bang, 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 bang. Then they were like live stream, here's some content, here's some content, here's some content, play the content, play the content, play the content. World v World alliances, then they had it last week, thankfully, they had something to fill in. But then like Christmas came. Just like, where is it? Like, come on, we need to keep this train rolling. And I feel like the release of the release date, and also just wanting to know a release date, isn't actually even mostly about the release date. It's more about just like, where is us? We want to know stuff. We want to know stuff about what's going on. Like, it just had like this crash, and I'm not blaming anyone, you know, it's a hard thing to do. How do you market when COVID's still going on? Omicron is like January. I must put so many people out of work. They probably had plans and stuff, but like other companies have been able to maintain this and maintain it in a very, very good way. Like ESO, we just saw how awesomely they did it. They did it like, I feel like the hype around ESO is almost better than the game at times. I'm just like, I love the game.
Oh, you said it, and you're not wrong.
But like,
don't get me wrong. This is coming from someone who loves ESO.
I love it. I love it to bits. Yeah.
Yes, they hype on a level that is truly, I think, one of the major reasons that it came back from such a rough launch. Like, they have really nailed down how they do this with this game. And like, it's so funny because, you know, they had this big expansion event that they were that you were just talking about, Jeb. And, you know, you could watch the live stream and there's like a special drop and there's all this stuff and they do this huge presentation. And they're also really well known for doing like, you know, when conventions and things are happening, those get-togethers are like flying creators out for these preview events and all this kind of stuff that gets the hype going on such a level that sometimes you forget that like what is coming out is like essentially half an expansion, and the expansion is going to come out over a whole year. And then there's going to be other content that comes, but it's not like it is some massive drop. It's like, you know, there's really cool stuff that comes out with it. And I like ESO, and I think the way they do it is clever. But yes, I agree with you, because sometimes you get to that and you get through that first like part of whatever that season is going to be, and you go, oh yeah, oh, okay, I guess it's done. All right, cool. I'll be back in a few months.
They don't leave information out either. Like, so yesterday, I mean, they do leave some information out that's really exciting, but then they have a post stream and they talk about it for like 3 hours. So like, and I could probably do a podcast on this. I know this is Guild Wars 2 podcast, but they're doing some pretty ridiculous stuff. They're having there's a card game you can play in the game now. They've got more companions. They're like changing everything about the achievement system to be account. There's so much stuff. They're not adding elite specializations. They're not adding a class. They're not adding a race. They're just going to a couple of islands and talking about peace talks with the Free Banners War. It's just like, you know, I know more about ESO lore now than ever, but like, you know, it's a really, really, really good, solid story. The trailer was epic. They just dropped this information and they talked about it for a little bit of time. But now that's their role. Like that, this is where they start. And they started like that. You know, they gave you the main features. They didn't mess about. They just gave you the main features. Like, that's what we should have had. We should have been just like, main features, maybe have something in our back pocket for later. A little tiny bit. But it just did feel like, you know... Does anyone else feel like this? Like, you know, they just did so well, and then there was kind of this just crash. And I love the Guild Wars 2 folks so much. They're like family, you know. A lot of these people I've hang out with in person. I love them to bits, and it's not a personal thing. It's just that it fell flat, and like to not talk about why they maybe have done it in the way, specifically in an official way, potentially is a little bit irritating, because their communication has been so good. Like, the communication is great, really, but how are they going to appeal this game to a wider audience outside of Guild Wars 2 when we've got less than a month before the game comes out?
Well, I think that in any game, there's always a little bit of that middle ground where the energy kind of dies a little bit, and then developers have to just do more work on it. It's kind of that time to push it. And
There's always a
maybe
content lull. I agree. Yeah.
there always is. And I think with Guild Wars 2, it has been rather impressive that we only really had it. I would say pretty much only January has really been that lull, because December, despite the ability to actually preload videos and have that, I do, I'll give him credit. It's like you have a little bit of a break month for the holidays.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
It is a little sad that because it's such a quick release window from January to February, hopefully it launches in February as they're planning, it would have been nice to at least have a stream like this week or last week and just start kind of that at the tail end of January.
Yeah.
Like, I really was hoping for a stream today, but because they pushed back New Kaineng, I was like, what's the next thing they could do? Like, what could they replace it with? And I was like, strike missions. We already had the blog post about strike missions. So the best thing that could have maybe been to replace it would have been a live stream,
just
like showcase
anything.
of the strike mission.
Yeah, exactly. Just anything. Talk about balance. Talk about your balance ethos, the plans behind that.
How balance is going to be impacted on the other elite specs. And I mean, the developers have mentioned they're doing basically a healing overhaul of single target and multi-target healing. So talk about that. How are you dealing with boons? Is it going to be a 10 target? Is it going to be 5 target? What are the break bars like in this expansion? They've mentioned these things, and also the variation between veterans and elites and champions all having different skills. I think there have been opportunities to replace this live stream that was pushed back. So it is a little like, well, you still maybe could have done something, picked something and done it, but you know, it's a game you have to balance, but I don't think it's been too bad. Just maybe
That's
a little
fair.
bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, after you.
No, after you.
I was going to say they have actually pushed out some articles. PC Gamer, they did a whole thing. They did a reveal about Mitrin and strike missions, and they're pushing that because I think that they recognize the voracious nature of people wanting to raid, and that when you look at Guild Wars and you look at Final Fantasy, there's a whole massive culture around raiding, that especially for casual raiding, which is I think what they're trying to transition into, to get away from the unforgiving nature of the original raids, I'll say. But I completely agree. They have the momentum has dropped off, and I feel like they're not even talking to the community. So if they were drip feeding screenshots and just anything, new armor skins or the inspirations for the art style that they're going into, you could have all the natural kind of garden of content creators creating all this free advertising as we talk about the drip feed of information. But it seems that they've kind of missed a beat, and I feel like a lot of I think World of Warcraft suffer from this as well. They never really tended to their content creators and would often be adversarial towards them, rather than seeing it as free advertising, right?
It's weird because there's literally like if you look at Mighty Teapot and Mucklug, for example, like two of the biggest like YouTube creators at the moment, and Wooden Potatoes, obviously, but Wooden Potatoes is not putting out content as much as they are. They're daily, like they will get something and they will milk the udders of that content. You know, they will milk it because that's what you have to do if you want to be where they are. You have to do it consistently. You have to do it daily. I mean, look at, they get 10 to 18, 20,000 views on these videos almost in a day sometimes. If they dropped a screenshot, like you said, Fornax, even of just like a piece of armor or like Jade Tech armor or like anything, you know, like you say, and it's just like, even if it's just once a week though, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be every day.
Well, this is what I think is maybe the beat they missed, right? Because like they do have this planned. I mean, just like you pointed out, Fornax, the media tour release was this month. So like that drop of information in and of itself, I honestly think could have had enough momentum to tide them over for this whole month. I mean, if I look back at being part of the 14 media tour, which I've talked about a bit as we've talked about End of Dragons, the sheer amount of work that other places did that they didn't have to do to like put information and content out, it's massive. And I mean, that's not to say that coordinating something like a media tour that also involves people all over and content creators and news outlets and, you know, game websites and all these things. That's not to say that that's an easy thing to coordinate. That does take a lot of skill and time, as well as just technological resources right now to coordinate everybody and get them all scheduled and get them all in. But it feels like this is something they could have even done pre-holidays. We don't know exactly maybe when everybody got to preview it or do the media tour but the difference being, I think, that they seemed to only have such a small select group of outlets that then strictly did written content articles about it. And like that in and of itself is fine. But like we talked about last week, when it comes down to it, most people at this point aren't necessarily getting their news from those kinds of written articles. Most people are getting information, they're getting hype, they're getting an experience from multi-platform and multimedia, be that everything from TikTok to YouTube to Twitter to all this stuff, right? So if you bring in all the different facets that connect to all those different types of media, including your content creators who were not involved with this media tour, then just like Jeb was saying, those creators milk it, right? Everything from like sending them a care package ahead of time that then gets plastered all over social media with the date of when, you know, like we're allowed to let them know when the embargo lifts, to like all this other stuff, to live streams about it. Like when I did media tour, I did live streams of it. I did YouTube videos of it. There was a flood across all news outlets and different like media content creator platforms of just suddenly a wall of Final Fantasy 14 information that everybody was seeing everywhere. So like
I only knew about the Guild Wars 2 drops on PC World because Mighty Teapot did a video about it. That's it. Yeah. That's the only reason. Why?
Oh, you mean the article? The article drops.
Yeah, exactly. The article dropped. I didn't know that.
I got messages from people as well. It was like, you know, and Rook linked a ton of articles, but then I was like, oh crap, there's more articles as well. I found another 3 more, and like my friend had written one. I was like, why didn't just Guild Wars 2 just drop a post and say, we've just released, like, we've just given these guys like a ton of information. We had these people on the thing. Here are their articles. Go read. They were
retweeting a ton of them.
Yeah,
like, you know, here's
Twitter.
the.
It's like that's such a small place of like Guild Wars 2 people that are on Twitter.
Guild Wars 2 does have a really good Twitter base. They're very active and very, so it's not bad, but
I mean, go and check how many people like their tweets and stuff. It's not that big. Twitter is a very small universe.
But from their other like social media posts that aren't just YouTube or Twitch, something that's a bit more like
Did they do it on Facebook? Did they do it on Facebook?
I don't think is as big, and Instagram is definitely not as big. I think Twitter is probably their biggest. But everything that you were saying, Rook, I was just like, that would have been the perfect opportunity to have like the first week you invite creators, then you get all the footage, then like the second week of January, your embargo is lifted on the fishing. You release the fishing videos. Next week, you release the Echo Valley Forest dynamic event videos. And then this final week, we release like the strike mission videos and the content around that. And that would actually give a consistent drip of not only footage that people can watch, but for people to talk about and build podcasts around, or then further blog posts and Discord communities, and, you know, starting to actually get that. And then in February, ArenaNet themselves do all of the streams as well. That would have been, I think that would have actually sustained the month of January incredibly well. But because it was so much like everything dropped on one day, there wasn't a lot of longevity to it, because everyone just read everything and there was like, or watched people do things on that, and then we kind of got
and like you said, it was just an article to read, so you just read it, right? Versus like a lot of creators who, I couldn't believe the ways that so many people, and this, I mean, is for many games, but like people reinvent stuff, right? Like Mioni, who does a lot of fashion videos for 14, you know, did all sorts of videos about any and all new item assets that he could see, you know, like here's this outfit, and then it's literally like a video of just like rotating around the outfit. Like I did a series of videos about like the new relic gear, like all the stuff that we were allowed to do. And there are certain guidelines or things like you can't show X, Y, or Z, or this or that or that, or you can only use so much of, you know, X amount of footage, or like stuff like that, right? That you did have to adhere to. And there's always a risk that there are going to be leaks, but at the same time, the sheer amount of information that was just like able to be made. I did a ton of lore videos, zone tours. You know, they brought in big creators from other games to get them hyped about it and then show all that footage to their audiences. But they also did a good job of bringing in people who played the game. Probably a far better job than they have in previous years, don't get me wrong, because honestly, overall, ArenaNet has a much better communication and much better relationship with their creators than 14. 14 has been abysmal to try and figure out how to connect with many times, and they like really deal with a very small and sometimes a very exclusionary group, but they've been trying very hard to like open up more in the past couple years. So I just wanted to say that because I think it is really important to note that for the critique of this, I do think ArenaNet overall is so much more transparent with their creators and offers us far more opportunities and support. But in this particular case, we could have supported their efforts better, and they could have used us better as a tool to further their reach.
Well, imagine Wooden Potatoes getting his hands on some of the footage from that strike mission. How many videos, how much content would he be able to make? Looking at the location, looking at the bits of dialogue that there were, just examining the environment. You can glean so much about the story and speculate and drive interest of the community, right? It's kind of sad that they've put it into this text-based form with a few interesting screenshots, and it's when the community is voracious for visual media, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, there you go. We're almost an hour and a half in, and we've done very well so far. I think to kind of, I guess, round out that conversation and move on, we kind of all agree. They're in varying amounts of, and I think we've talked about this. I think we did well to not repeat past like comments and stuff about, you know, I think on many podcasts there's definitely a lot of like, oh the marking, and like all this on that, and they've got their plans and they've got their ideas. Yeah, and we're definitely not like that. I think they're all, you know, valid points, and rather than, but also credit where credit's due, like that which I said at the beginning, you know, there was such a good amount of stuff that came out. They did really well, probably even better, like, you know, in some ways to like Heart of Thorns, they gave us more time to play it. I think the Heart of Thorns, the public didn't get to play a lot of the Elite specs, as far as I remember, at least for not very long if they did. It was mostly about Rev. And that's really awesome, you know, that's very cool. You know, Path of Fire was just, let's go on to the other things. So release date. Yeah, we'll know about the things, and then we'll have the Kanang City map tour on live stream, and then they'll talk more about the release date hopefully as well. Maybe give us a trailer if they didn't give us a trailer on the first, which hopefully they do.
Can't wait to see the city.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Even just the concept art we've seen of it, it looks like it is going to be phenomenal.
It does. It's going to be, hopefully, and this brings us on to a chat about the final mastery line as well, because I think did they say they're going to do it the same way they're doing it the week after on there?
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing it. That. I mean, do you want to talk about the Kanang City? Like, I mean, what are you looking forward to the most about Kanang City? Or we don't need to talk about it too much, but we can talk about it a little bit if we want to. I don't want to just skip by it. Are you excited to see Kanang City?
High expectations. It's quite. I mean, if Guild Wars 2 has had a great time with perfecting a city feel to some degree, like Divinity's Reach, especially the capital cities, and Kanang City is so huge, and with so much time passed in technology, it must have taken so long. And I actually expected New Kanang to be one of the second maps shown, but then I had to think like, oh, the amount of time that it takes to artfully create everything and have rooms and areas and forums and then the sewer system. New Kanang could be one of the largest, most intricate maps that Guild Wars 2 has ever actually put in, just for the sheer size of it and the intricacies. So high hopes, very high hopes, and especially because it was the last one shown and it was delayed so much further than the other maps, I do think that we are in store for, there's a treat in store for us.
Anyone else?
I think it has the potential to be one of the most visually diverse cities that we've ever encountered. Kai in the original, it was a sprawling metropolis, and it had masses of honestly quite disturbing slums, and we never see that kind of degradation in the pristine cities that we have, right? I mean, I suppose you could argue that in the Char Citadel, there's some underground areas, but proper slums, shanty town, basically. So you have the contrast between the beauty and the pristine nature of the imperial palace and the grounds, and then the industrial kind of trade district, which is still quite wealthy, going off into the suburbs, and then the especially because there was a plague running through the place, there was a lot of really dark places, and I hope that they don't shy away from that. I mean, obviously there's going to be an evolution in the time that's passed, but I sincerely hope that they give as much love as they have in previous expansions to making the places as much a character as the main characters themselves.
Totally agree. I mean, Kaineng is one of the regions and zones from Guild Wars 1 that I think has stuck with me the longest, because it is so rare that I think you see an MMO give a city the depth that it is due, in a sense, right? Oftentimes they're just convenience hubs. But when you think about how massive certain major cities can even be, how each neighborhood can have a different group, tell a different story, a different culture, a different history, it's something that is so phenomenal, but that oftentimes gets overlooked, even just in RPGs, right? In favor of like, here is the forest map, or here is the thing. And I think honestly, probably Dragon Age 2, for all of its many failures, got the closest to trying to do something that was the story of one city and the, like, you know, ways that it could change over time. So to me, I'm really excited about Kaineng, because if it is something, you know, like Crichton's talking about, or, you know, like we're talking about here, Fornax, sorry, it's a really exciting prospect to have something that is a map that is an urban center, and that, much like Guild Wars 1, would reflect a ton about the people and the history and the current state of affairs. So I can't wait to see that, especially with some of the stuff they've talked about with like the radios and other technologies. I have this feeling that it's going to be this immersive experience on so many levels, as you actually just basically throw yourself into this city and explore everything within it. So fingers crossed, because I think it could be one of the major highlights of the whole game, honestly.
Fingers crossed. And hopefully we will have the sewers again. I think I would be disappointed if we didn't get to explore the underside of the city.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, we could have like a really cool like contrast between the elegantly, technically improved royalty areas, and then like the slums being transformed into more of a cyberpunk-esque neon nightlife with like some alleyways, and it's kind of grungy and hard, and I think that would be a really cool contrast just for one map.
The influence of like the Ministry of Purity and things, I'm so curious how deeply it runs in the city. We know that like Jade Brotherhood, obviously some parts of it have been pushed out into Echo Vault, because we've heard about, you know, at least the more extreme experiments, and with some of the previews we got with Media Tour. But I wonder, like, how is the underside of this city going to have changed? Do we still have rampant street gangs if we go down lower, you know? Or is there something else that lurks in the shadow? Has crime taken on a new definition in lieu of everything that happened in Usoku's reign and with the Ministry of Purity? I mean, it's very possible, right? And I think Cyberpunk, although it is maybe very much overused, especially when it comes to sometimes with the way it handles East Asian, I'll just say what's a good word? Exoticism?
Eroticism?
Where like some
fetishism.
Yeah,
Fetishism.
yes.
Yeah.
And like sometimes that's not great. It's a lot of times it's not great. But in the case of something like Jadepunk, and from, I think, a setting in a world that is usually very good about the way that it represents diverse cultural fantasy, I really hope we get to see something that is a very interesting landscape, and that takes that Jade element and a lot of the history that's already been set up and envisions it in this new way that's unique to Guild Wars 2.
I'm fairly confident they're going to actually show the cultures that they're inspired by. Respect and reverence, because I mean, just look at the care and the attention to detail that have gone into the new faces and hairstyles, just that base level, right? So I'm fairly confident they're going to try and do that ancient Asian and aesthetic. I don't think they're going to, it's not going to be like your culture as a fashion accessory, right? I think they're going to use it as a deep kind of reference and try to show it as much respect as they can.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I mean, even the history of Cantha, like the history of Cantha itself draws on so much that I really do think really is like inspired directly by the history of many countries. China, Korea, Japan being, I think, the three main ones that we see influencing there. So, I mean, yeah, I think they've already got a lot of really great setup. And I totally agree. I think they have a lot of good potential and a lot of experience handling this, and as well as a diverse voice acting cast that's going to be bringing to life so many of these characters, which I love to see. You just love to see it. So, I can't wait. I think Kaineng's going to be a highlight.
Well, I mean, they did fantastic in they did fantastic in Path of Fire with the African continental African cultures and tribal and I think we're safe. I don't think there's going to be any terrible blowing up, burning the building down scandal because of aesthetics. I think we're okay.
Does anyone else want to say how we think ArenaNet are a good company? Basically, and they're probably not going to mess this up.
Well,
please forgive me for calling you bastards. Yes.
But the thing is, though, like in the current climate of MMOs, I think it is crucial to voice because, like, my gosh, like, let alone the information that's come out about Blizzard and so many other things. That is not something that is only exclusive to Blizzard. And it is not something that is only exclusive to any other MMO or any other game that has these issues with representation, diversity, or any other work practices, anything. So to actually have a game, honestly, that has a team that I constantly feel like is always pushing themselves forward to be more inclusive, to be more aware, the people that I've even met that work there, the people, it's something that to me it deserves to be said 100 million times over because it is a huge thing. I mean, we were even just teasing about the lull over the holidays, but when you think about it with this major release that's coming out, think about how many companies would not just allow their employees to have the time off that ArenaNet does over significant holidays or, to make sure that working conditions are good. That's so important, it really is. So it's good to say, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think they're still. I don't even think they're back in. Yeah, I think they're probably doing important stuff. I mean, I know they're doing meetings and stuff because of when I was there, but like, other than that, I don't know. But yeah, okay, well, this is cool. I'm going to shift us on. Okay. You're right. Yeah, we definitely have to. We have to like. I'm trying to advocate for those kinds of companies, that's the word I'm trying to think of. We definitely have to advocate for them because that is very, very true, and like we've said in the past, especially with Blizzard. And I do think that especially nowadays, I mean, if you think about like Spotify and like the Joe Rogan stuff, and you think about Neil Young taking his music off of there and what that meant, like it was just like this big like, ooh, you're questioning yourself and the support you give to companies. I think people do that nowadays more so maybe than ever because we're able to talk about this stuff in just a more open way, I think, as well. So it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Make sure you don't support crappy companies, people.
Well, it's the rise of consequence culture. There are consequences to action, right? Not cancel culture. There are consequences. You are free to say whatever the fuck you want, but you are not free of the consequences of saying that. And you're not free of the consequences of doing that. So if you allow your male devs to do curb crawls when they're drunk and harass female employees, then, well, yeah, you've got to burn your own fucking house down, aren't you? That's what you're going to do.
They got built, then they get bought by Microsoft and they have to fix that. Hopefully.
Yeah, good luck to them. Yeah.
Hopefully. Okay. Does anyone else have anything to say about that? we've got, this sounds like a topic that maybe people want to talk about. I don't know.
I mean, yes, there are many things to be said about it.
I'm just like,
We could do a whole different podcast again about that.
But yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, I'm trying to think. Where am I going? Where am I going now, Griff? I
don't know.
I'm going to the bit that we're going to talk about is going to be
We didn't
the
talk
bit.
about the Jade minion.
Oh, the mastery
bot
thing. Yeah, that's what I was
Mastery.
doing. Thank you so much. Right.
I can speak to
Yeah,
Rose
that's why I
Taylor.
talked to you just then.
Save us from topical stuff and more F-bombs. Yeah, quick, change the subject.
No, we always talk about stuff like this. We talk about this kind of stuff weekly. We do talk. I bring some psychology in and some counselor stuff in, and we bring some. We talk about the different communities' identity. We talk about loads of stuff. We're very.
It's true. I do watch the cast, and I agree.
Very hip, like podcast.
Fuck, if you're hip,
We're hip.
you shouldn't have me on. I am
hip.
the antithesis of hip.
Antithesis of hip.
My hip
Sounds like
hurts.
My hip does hurt. Okay, so this is Rook actually put this in the Discord the other day. I was like, oh, there's this little guy next to that guy's head, and there's this little, well, I'll say guy, but it's a robot. And this is going to be, so they're going to really reveal this, the 18th or whenever. This is actually something I was going to say earlier. Like the city is called New Kainang as well. So like this gives you a hint as to, obviously Jade Tech is going to affect the city that much. How much is it going to look like the old Kainang as well? And obviously they have to show the history in these different parts of it. If they don't, they're doing themselves a disjustice, to be fair. But also like this mastery tech, like I think maybe I was like thinking maybe I just flaked on this because I'm an engineer, and I'm a scrapper, and like there's just always a bot next to my head, and I'm just like, that's just normal. But it's not. There's like if you are listening to this live, there is an image of a player character or an NPC or whatever walking through, which looks like in New Kainang. Can you see the screen up in the background as well? It's so cool. Like it looks like it just reminds me of Blade Runner. I'm cannot wait to see this city at night. I'm hoping there's just gonna be massive buildings. It's gonna be like very like just like I love Blade Runner so much. But there's this little bot and it's got like these 3 kind of jade tubes coming out of the top and stuff, and Rook was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be a thing, and everyone's starting to say, this is definitely going to be a thing, because then you look on the Guild Wars 2 website and you see the pre-launch launch live stream schedule, and the flipping thing's right there. It's just like, hi, here I am, but it looks very different there. There's a lot more detail, and there's these kind of little, let's talk about this. What is this one? Do you think this has got to do with the mastery, or is it just a thing they've put there? Probably highly unlikely. Or what is it? What's the deal? Is the mastery proof?
100%. They're very cute. Yeah. I would sacrifice my life for that thing. It is so adorable. I haven't even met it yet. But there's an endless amount of possibilities that these jade minion things, jade tech creatures could bring for us. I have noticed that a lot of the verbiage around it is how to make your life more convenient. So they might actually offer a source of account-wide convenience, and I've thought of a couple things, but ultimately what I will say right off the bat that I know that I feel in my heart and my soul, deep down in my appendix, I hope that this isn't a permanent floating thing that's around you all the time across all characters, and I hope it's not a combat tool to further muddy combat.
So it's not a special action skill.
Yeah, I don't want this to be like a summonable minion that does break bar damage, that trivializes certain mechanics that you would put on elite specs, or even there is a combat mount now. So I think having that combat mount is enough of the combat in terms of a mastery. But I hope the convenience, I hope they lean into that convenience, and what convenience could be brought to such a convenient game as Guild Wars 2. Like, how can they top their already very player-friendly systems?
So So you don't want it to be a kind of summonable henchman, combat assistant.
I hope it's not something like the Icebrute Saga Masteries where you just do entire break bar damage with a single special action key that everyone has access to, or a mine that you throw down that does wild amounts of damage. I was fairly critical of Icebrute Saga's Masteries, and I hope it's not just a repeat of what happened in Icebrute Saga.
I kind of hope that in the same vein as some of the things that they did with Engineer and the bots, the idea of customization with this, I think, could be really fun. If this like mastery offers you different ways to build this thing or use it, essentially, I think that could be great. Whether that, I don't know, buffed some sort of thing already for you convenience wise, or you know, you could tool it in different ways. A little part of me wondered as well if they were going to try to do something like a companion where, you know, if you were out exploring the open world solo, or, you know, in maybe certain story instances, I don't know, you could have this creature with you. And in that case, it would be something like a combat, you know, droid or something in that sort of vein. I agree that having them be something that could be in raids and fractals and all sorts of other stuff feels as though we already have enough clutter. There's already enough, you know what I mean? It feels like it would just be too much. But I maybe could see something like that, because that is a feature that we've seen added into other games and to facilitate solo play of story for many other MMOs. Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I would honestly be happy if it even just gave you more inventory slots. I would love it if it was something that you could use as a hub in some kind of way without having to consume things like the trading posts, consumable trading posts and stuff. I mean, granted, that's a part of their market that then would be lost. So I'm not sure exactly what they'll do with this, but I kind of hope there's some customization and that it sort of bulks out and gives you more capacities in some way, shape, or form in the game.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards an open world single player assistant for damage. So for example, if you are a squishy class and you take a lot of damage, maybe you could set it up to give you a burst of healing for a percentage, or if you need it to tank for you, it could be like a combat pet. But I'm like you, I'm struggling to kind of think of how my life could be made any easier, because there's so much convenience already rolled into the game. You can throw your stuff, you're gathering into the bank immediately. Your mail arrives to you on wing. The only thing you need to do is go and collect stuff from the trading post. So yeah, I'm kind of stumped.
I mean, there are a couple ideas that I was thinking of. Maybe this is a thing where you summon it. And also, if we look at the image, the two drones look very distinct from each other. So maybe it's something where
I think that's the back of it.
I don't think it's the back of it.
I don't think it is. Look at the one on the left.
I think it is,
you can see the pokey bit out the back. It's the back, I think.
It has that like bowling ball that's you know set inside of it, and you can kind of see like
I kind of see it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah. So it's back. Yeah, definitely. But if there were options for you to change it,
maybe that doesn't mean there isn't. That doesn't mean there isn't.
That doesn't mean there isn't.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I mean, there could be some ideas where, like, I was thinking, like, what if you summon this thing to then go collect materials in the map that you're in? So you can passively, like, slowly collect materials. It's almost like a miner while you're out doing achievements or meta events or things like that.
Yes,
or
so
even
does
like
that, actually. They have, like, when you level up, put skill points towards crafting, you get passive. They mail you items. They mail you, like, stuff which you can deposit.
So that could bring slight convenience. I don't think it would really replace anything like you going out and crafting and the speed of that.
No,
maybe it's just something that
bits and bobs.
Yeah, pretty minor. Or even a personalized waypoint where you set it up at a certain location and you tell it to stay there, and then you can teleport to it at any time as a free waypoint. I don't know. But or something that takes junk items in your inventory and, you know, create something. So if you don't want to sell your junk items, you can just throw it into this bot. That makes like a jade essence or like extra luck or something. I don't know.
Could it be our interface with the Jade tech that we're going to be encountering? So perhaps, I mean, these sort of McGubbins. Remember the jumping mushrooms? Maybe this is an interface to allow us to interact with the tech on the map as a facilitation for, like, think of the Jackal portals where we can get to a different area that's unlocatable. Unobtainable without it. Maybe it's something like that.
I hope it's not just specific to only End of Dragon stuff, though, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like if this is something they want to keep in reserve and that, you know, they've been saving it, and we know that a lot of those media articles specifically said there is something else that we can't talk about yet, but we can talk about come like the first week of February. So my guess is that they got to preview whatever this is. And that we'll probably hear about it. I'm just curious. Yeah, like I would like it to be something that is applicable across everything in the game and that, you know, is actually a bigger thing. I mean, we have skiffs and we have fishing, which honestly already is a major implementation that, you know, gives you reason to go back to all the maps in the game, which is phenomenal. But I would like to see this knock it out of the park, especially since we know, like, you know, we're not getting a new race or things like that. To have something that they had in their back pocket that was this thing that you could use across the whole world would be really fun, and I think have more impact. Although, of course, if things are really exciting to interact with in Cantha, then it's fine if it interfaces. I just would like to see it maybe be usable everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. There's the quote. I forgot to read that out, actually. That's a good point. Let me read it very quick. Soon we'll be ready to tell you about the final Guild Wars 2 End of Dragon's Mastery line and all its practical uses for your busy adventuring lifestyle. What is your busy adventuring lifestyle, everyone? What is your busy adventuring lifestyle? You're running around killing stuff all the time.
Okay, so let's identify the pinch points then, right? Like, what happened? What do you run into in the game that kind of pushes you out and irritates you while you're playing? Maybe we can like backwards.
Damn.
I play PvP, so
I got it.
I'm joking.
You can put the bot at a heart, and then the bot will complete the heart, so you don't have to.
Damn.
Also, everybody in the chat sassing me about my terrible inventory. Look, if this droid has an auto inventory sorter preset where you could be like, always get rid of or break down gear of X, always deposit these things Y, can't deposit, put it on black line. If you could set auto behaviors for this little bot, yes, this would be life-changing for me personally because I'm a disaster.
I am sorry. There is no one worse than me. And everyone in this stream knows. Like I have got every crown every year for that. Like literally, if you go into my literally I'll be playing the game and every single character like they actually they pay me money. This is a goal during the board fund. Which is our monthly sub fund, by the way. Come join it tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. But like the first goal, the first donation goal we have is clean my bags live on stream. That goal will go like that. I know it will be. It's a big, it's just like my like, I don't know how to describe it. And it brings me massive anxiety right now. But like, it's just so bad. There's too much stuff in the game, man. There's too much stuff in the game to collect. And then there's a book and you're like, oh, this is that book that Scarlett had and you have a copy of it. Wait, why don't I put that somewhere? No, it's got to be on my inventory in case I want to read it randomly. Why? No, you don't need to read it. Put it in your bank. Oh no, but I've got like 57 books in there already. And it's just that bits of paper that Bram gave you for some reason. Why? Bram, why have I got 7 pieces of paper from Bram? Anyway.
Sorry. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, okay.
Right now. Next time I come on, I'm going to take some screenshots and you can see the absolute shit show dumpster fire that is my inventory.
How many clear spots do you have in your inventory right now?
On which character? I've got like 17 characters.
Your main.
None. I've been doing a lot of World v World. I am
okay.
fucked. Yeah.
My inventory's pretty fine.
Wow.
took me a
Okay,
while.
Proof.
It
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
No, it took me a while to figure out how to do inventories. I think mine's pretty okay. You know, I never really have a lot of. Only when I'm doing legendary crafting, that's when my inventory gets a little messy. But you know, after that, I could clean it all up.
Kroof, the only one who's got her shit
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, Deborah. I just want to talk to you like in a little side really fast.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we can have Proof on next week. So
I want to watch.
Yeah, I don't feel like you
I don't
belong,
like
actually.
when
yeah.
I don't like when Proof makes me feel bad about my inventory by being good at inventory. So
I'm not saying it's immaculate. I'm just saying like it's
You've
lived
got
in,
a spot in your bags.
You know,
Right,
it's,
that's
it's a
free.
lived-in apartment. It's not like spotless.
We have all varying degrees of well, we're all bad and Kroof is just better than us. So the bot
Now, do you think this would be something that you could buy gem store skins for? Because I already put out like different bot looks.
well, they need to. I mean, I think that they could do that kind of thing, but I think if it's going to be like, I think it has to be what Rook said. I think it has to be a thing which is not going to be just for End of Dragons, if it's going to be that, because then I actually think that if this is a mastery line, this could be just a core one as well. But like, if that makes sense, it should, or maybe they should start to add more core game masteries as well, like that kind of thing. Say like you can have this, it's going to be so impactful to the maybe hopefully it won't be that impactful to the game, because I don't think it will be. I think it's just literally going to be this thing which assists you in some kind of, the way they word it, assists you in your busy adventures, like busy adventures. It's not like, you know, busy, like, I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm a businessman or something. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of the hustle and bustle of the town, and you know, I'm going from place to place, doing all the things. It does, and that's what makes me think, like, when Kroof, you said it might be like some kind of portal device, I was like, busy? Like maybe it's some kind of transport kind of like tool, or like, you know, it's a mini portal device which gets you from place to place a bit quicker, like in maps. I don't know, like it just feels like some kind of, it's interesting. It looks so cool as well. I'm just like, the artwork on it, it just looks awesome. It doesn't really look, it's like all of this tech, right? It doesn't look Asuran, which is good, because I think, you know, we've got so much, like all the tech in Guild Wars 2 feels like, you know, if it's not Asuran, it's not great. And obviously, because I am an Asura, but like it just looks good. I love the whole, it looks very, I don't know, just the background as well, the city, it looks dark. There's this kind of, the contrast between the jade and the darkness of the city and what you could, I don't know, I don't know what the hell this is going to do. Chat, you need to put in some kind of thoughts and feelings about this. We've come up with so much, well, these guys have come up with so much stuff, but I don't know, I like the little face on it as well. It's got like an eye.
Cute.
It has cute little sea turtle eye bulbs.
Yeah, it's random, isn't it?
It doesn't look like it would be really combat ready unless it like shoots a laser out of its forehead, but like, you know, we have those exalted assistants where you can activate the pylon and summon an exalted, and we've seen like certain jade baubles that seem to be associated with the Jade Mastery line that we've seen in trailers and live streams, and I think that might be a way to summon this thing.
You think it's a gathering tool?
I wouldn't mind seeing a gathering tool that I send out this minion to go do stuff with and be like, hey, we're on this map. I summoned you here. Go collect some things for 30 minutes and, you know, give me back some things.
I don't know, that would interfere with their revenue stream.
Well, it's different to, I think the way Kroof's described it is different to if you're there and you gather.
Ah.
Like it's kind of like you requested to go and gather in this map, but then it wouldn't be with you, right?
No, I think I'm leaning more towards maybe like a portable summoning stone. So the ability to summon party members to a specific location, perhaps, or something like that to you, rather than it depends how big the maps are, right? And if there is a shortage of portal stones, waypoints,
that would be convenient.
Yeah. I just hope it's not going to be something like from Icebrew Saga where we're just never going to use it. It's just like, oh no.
I'm actually worried that Icebrew Saga is going to trivialize a lot of End of Dragons combat. With the break bars specifically.
Well, isn't that stuff, the break bar stuff specifically for like Icebrew Saga content mostly?
It's across all of the game. You
It
can
is
activate
across
that
all the
table
game, isn't it?
anywhere. And when they were talking about how there's an emphasis on break bars in this expansion, I was like, okay, so what are you going to do about those masteries?
Well, maybe
because if you
just
want
it's
to make
disabled
them,
or something.
well, yeah, I would actually be in very big favor of disabling those in expansion zones.
Although,
But I was like,
have
is it really going to be that great if we keep this around?
well, they've got the modes, right? They have the challenge modes. They'll probably leave it in for the base level, and then they'll probably take it out, like master it.
Oh, you want
Challenge.
that? Oh,
Take it out.
you
of
can't
challenge.
use tables in strike missions, though. That's actually a good point. I am actually a little bit worried about that because they use the essence system in Icebrood Saga for the strike missions, which gave everyone a break bar, annihilator.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be this because that's not a way to like
No, take
effectively.
it out. Yeah, don't
It's
have
not great for training, and specifically the stepping stone. It's not great to train by just giving someone a free.
Yeah,
break
I don't
bar
think.
every
I think
year.
that's a bad idea. I completely agree. Like, why is that even a thing? Just
Yeah, I
get
think they
people
should
to
go
break
back-
CC. God damn it.
Yeah, go back to the Icebrood Saga Masters and get rid of those things, and then rebalance the break bar health.
People are
I
so
think-
reliant upon them now as well. That's the thing. It's just like, why even?
Yeah.
How you don't? Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, guys? What is
Sure.
your collective opinion on the break bar mechanic itself? Because for me, it's overused, and I'd like them
Ooh.
to have more things for us to interact with.
Break bars are used in a lot of games as well. Actually, if I think about it, actually, like, in a way, there's a mini break bar in New World where it's more of a stamina bar and it's a block kind of thing where it's like it's an extra defense. I think it's good for forcing stages in fights. I think like you don't need to have it in every and I don't think there is, because I mean, if I'm trying to think about raid wings, if we think about where they are, like I think, are they consistently used in raids all the time though?
For the most part, they're typically used a break bar phase.
Yeah, like wing 1 there is at least like there's first boss, yeah, VG's got one, Gorseful's got one.
I like break
Yeah,
bars.
that's true, actually.
I just wish that like this goes back to another idea. Like, if I really wish that tanks were a thing in Guild Wars 2 Endgame,
Yeah.
and then if you were a tank, you actually had empowered break bar damage, so you had more of a reason to use crowd control abilities in raids. But they can definitely spice up the way they look at break bars. I mean, I would love an encounter that actually de-incentivizes you to use crowd control. So if you break the break bar, the boss enrages then for a short
Yeah.
time, or to even have like break bars segmented into chunks where like you have, if you break bar 50% of this, something happens, and then if you push the other half, then it does something else.
Or maybe it's specific break bar, like you have to poison or you have to blind or you have to.
Yeah, something like that. But they could definitely, I think the break bar allows an opportunity to have interesting end game mechanics, especially in 10-player environments, because you typically have better communication. It really hasn't gone in that direction of being more than just do crowd control.
Well, sometimes people just go, they don't even use them either. Like Gorseful, for example, if you like force it, you just go boom. You just like, you don't even, everyone's just like, don't do the break bar. And it's like, okay, don't do the break bar here. It's like, well, what? Oh, because we can choose it. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, I do think even in it's tough, right? Because in Gorseful, I think it's kind of an interesting thing where, like, yes, if you realize that you can pace different break bar sections in a certain way, it can also, kind of like Kroof was saying, open up certain mechanical ideas, right? Where like the idea of how long do we want to let this stay up, or the idea of like different bosses that would have different break bars, or one boss that would end up with like multiple break bars, and you had to figure out what type of CC would affect which break bar and then like break them at certain points. Like that kind of stuff, I think, takes the building blocks of break bar and then pushes it into a realm where, again, this is expounding on a basic mechanic in the game and then making it more difficult in something like a raid setting in a way that I think could be really interesting and really dynamic. Overall, for me, I love break bars in the game because I do think that it adds something extra. But I think the problem is that up until now with End of Dragons, we're going to be getting this training zone, right? There have really been very few instances where like break bars as a concept are like really robustly communicated to new players, taught to new players,
Not really
worked
cool
in.
game.
And then like the idea that that is a major part of your mechanics, it feels like they haven't necessarily wanted to fully commit to it beyond just burst CC phases where you have to just like crush a CC bar and then go. Because they weren't maybe sure if that was even something they should build off of. I don't know. I would be sad to see it go in the sense that I do think it adds another layer to combat, and it is something that is unique within the MMO kind of space to have that and to have certain effects that you do, not just necessarily like slow an enemy or things like that, but to like actually also play a part in this other kind of mechanic. I mean, even just the split between hard and soft CC, right? It'd be interesting to see different CC bars that responded to that in different ways. So I think there's a lot of possibilities with it. I don't mind that it's in the game, but I think they could push it further, or, I mean, yeah, you could remove it, and I don't know how much would be lost. I mean, there are some fights where I do enjoy it, but yeah.
Even as a quick little idea. Oh, sorry, you can.
Oh, no, after you, Griff.
Okay, I just want to say, like, as a quick little idea, like, we have also locked break bars and then open break bars. You never have any interaction with a locked break bar, but what if like you actually had to do hard CC to chunk out the locked break bar, and then soft CC degenerates the liquid break bar? You could actually have layers to that instead of just waiting for the boss to phase to unlock the break bar, but like a tank or someone like a ranger with a lot of, or like an untamed with a lot of crowd control abilities could then actually break the locked break bar and actually have a purpose in endgame content rather than just like
I like how Kuru is just like Untamed is actually gonna be good at something.
I mean,
sorry.
Just like a little idea. There's a lot of possibility with like locked, unlocked, soft
God, I
CC,
forgot
hard
about that.
CC.
It's gonna be specialization.
Can I put forward my biggest
yeah, tell us why you don't
peeve about
actually hate them. Yeah.
No, hate is a strong word. I reserve that for Republican politicians. No.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah, Boris Johnson. Okay.
Oh my God, poor Joe, don't even get me started. Fucking hell. Anyway,
sorry.
So I think that it disadvantages solo players, especially in like the Dragon Response missions. So they're all about, we don't want DPS meters. We want you to play the build that feels good for you, right? Okay. They want you to have a complete open board. No DPS meters, no kink shaming for you. You can do whatever you want. You can play the game how you want to. And then they stick you in a drag.
Wow, okay.
Right, and then they stick you in a Dragon Response mission. I'm fine. Okay, I'm by myself. You don't get any rewards for doing this. Congratulations, you're going to be here for 40 minutes, but hey, no reward for you. I don't like that, right? And then they say, here's a massive, massive break bar. And now I have to build my character around that mechanic. I don't have any choice. So it stops the freedom for me to play my character how I want to, and it disadvantages freedom of play and casual players, because I am a complete dirty casual, right? I want to get in, I want to enjoy the story content, and I want to blast through it to get to the next point, right?
So the break bar is a barrier for you. I mean, I know it's a barrier for like it's supposed to be a barrier, but like it's a negative barrier.
It is. So, for example, I have a druid. I like to play support. I'm a absolute Care Bear. I like to play support. I play healers and all the games that I play.
We actually all play support as well.
Yeah.
Everyone
here plays healers and support.
Care Bears unite, right?
We're the light bringers. We bring light to the flipping interior. That's what it's about.
No, but I love doing that. I love just like so many times in so many games, I'll see someone, they've got 2 hit points left. I'll come and heal them. I'll save that guy. I have just saved them from the pain of having to res. You know, I love doing that. It makes me feel great. And I feel like I go into, honest to God, one of the Dragon Response missions. Yeah. It took me so long to get the boss down. And of course, the AI on the assistants, I mean, then they're just idiots. They just stand in the fire and die. I mean, I can do that. I don't need them to help me do that, you know?
They're trying to show you how to do it quicker, probably.
Yeah, more effective death. And it's all the other expansions, all the other Living World episodes, I have played and I have played and I have played. And then I got to the Icebrood and I don't want to play it again. I do not want to go to another Dragon Response mission. There is no reward and it is painful. I got to take a week off. I got to bore the enemy to death, right? Because I play support.
Oh,
And
you play
They were
support
better.
when you go do story modes as well?
Who
Why do
doesn't
I
wanna
have to
heal some
change my
NPCs?
build? Why do I have to change? No, if they, right. So if this game is for everyone and everyone should be able to get through it, you put a massive break bar in that I have to completely change my game style for to get through.
Do you think is it good to? I guess that kind of opens up another conversation, which is not what this podcast is built for. I don't know if we've got time for that. But like, then it's like, should games be encouraging you to play in different ways? I suppose as well. And I think it's a different answer for everyone. Whereas I think maybe if on actually you want to play one way specifically in most of the content, it sounds like you want to support, so then you will be support. And
But there's no other way to get through the break bar. They don't give you a second choice. They don't allow you to take NPCs who will break it for you so you can play support. They don't give you a mechanism inside it so that you can use it then. So they are
If you don't
pushing
have one, you're
people into
screwed.
specific builds. Exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, that
And
makes
if you
sense.
have weak ones, if your class doesn't have a particularly effective one, you can bring 4. I brought 4 specific break bars to one encounter. Still couldn't get through the break bar.
Yeah, I think they don't in single player activities, in particular, like story. I don't think they balance the break bar as effectively as they could. And then in open world, I think break bars are far too weak because then you could actually lean on like 50 plus players doing an encounter. So I think I actually agree with you to some point because there have been times even when I'm doing DPS, I'm like, oh no, this build that I'm running only has 1 knockdown for 1 second and then just like slowly deals damage and then it quickly regenerates. So single player content, I think they could maybe look at how it also depends, like not every break bar you need to break, but there are some instances where you feel like you almost have to break it because then you can actually do the fight a bit faster.
Yeah. I mean, and also, like you said, not all break bar abilities are the same. That polymorph that Mesmers get is amazing. You can break a break bar all by yourself, especially in a Dragon Response mission. Whereas where on a ranger, especially a druid, you're whacking away at that thing for a week.
You're like, let me put some immobilize and watch it kind of bleed a little bit and then it immediately heal back up.
Yeah, I mean, even like specifically bringing pets that had the ability to break bars. I mean, I guess I'm salty. I was there for like so long. It was so long.
This is an interesting point where something like this companion droid, like you were kind of theorizing earlier, that could have different roles that it can almost fulfill, right? It could be a DPS. You could make it have more CC. You could spec it with a heal. You could spec it with this. Could be something where, I mean, the effectiveness of a creature like that within certain limited content could be more valuable, right? Like if you're trying to do this mission and you don't have the full group or whatever it is, and you're just like trying to get through it and you don't have enough CC on the build you want to run, you could have that little bot kind of do something complementary in a way that would like help facilitate it for you. I think there's like bigger discussions to be had about like how effective would the bot be? What kinds of content would it be like excluded to or included in? What like, I mean, yes, like, you know, does that discourage players from grouping up and trying to tackle what would essentially be group content together? It kind of depends, but I agree with you in that right now it does feel like unless you are doing raids, like specifically, right? The kinds of builds you're going to be doing for something like open world or story content is oftentimes dictated by creating a sort of jack of all trades thing, right? Where you have like enough sustain or you damage so efficiently that you're able to kill something quick, but then you end up in certain story instances where things get really frustrating, or Dragon Response missions, which I mean really have not shown well since they were released. I think decent idea, not so good implementation. Like the idea of having some kind of repeatable playable thing, not a bad idea, but the way that they were executed and are kind of exclusive to this one weird period of time, I think is really limiting and awkward, especially when you have to now do these achievements, you know? So it's like, I think the frustrations are totally valid. I don't know if I'm personally mind having to build different ways for different kinds of content, because I think it makes it fun for me in a sense to have to explore the kit and skills that I have in full. But I also agree that there have been times where I've been really frustrated because maybe I do just want to do support, but there's very limited amounts of times that I can do that and actually be effective in anything I'd want to do in this game that isn't like large coordinated group content, you know?
No, I agree, and I don't necessarily think that they should build a game around people like me. The lowest common denominator when it comes to damage.
Sorry, what is going on with Cruf right now? What are you doing? You were like, you put your headset on, and then you were like, oh, I'm feeling quite happy and joyful, and then suddenly you got your arm caught in something, and I don't know,
my hair lassoed around these buttons on this shirt. Oh, my hair got stuck in my shirt. Anyway, sorry. I didn't want to rip my hair out. It was like a decent chunk.
Well,
I'm good. Sorry.
Keep talking about hair.
Sorry. Quick summary. I'm really rubbish. I don't think that they should make the game specifically for me. That's it.
Oh.
Okay.
You are not rubbish, and your way that you play this game is as valid as anybody else. Let me just be completely clear about that. Your perspective on this is a way that people who play Guild Wars 2 play the game. Like, and that is a valid opinion, you know? Nothing needs to be wholly dictated by a hardcore raider mentality. Nothing has to be dictated by all casual experience. Like, we all play this game within a spectrum of experiences and with different interests. And so figuring out how to balance that and to, I mean, give credit to everybody in the way that they might want to engage with this game is really important in MMO design. So your opinions are valid.
I leveled my first character as a healer. It took me 4 months, but I did it.
I love playing
so much
healers.
respect for you, darling. I have so much respect for you.
Wow, at least you never died. I mean, I think with me, when I'm playing those instances, most of the time I'm just like, why does this thing have so much health? Because even as a like full damage dealer, like when I'm in the places, I'm like, I've done this mechanic many times. I've proved myself. Please let this thing just die. I'm done now. Like, my excitement to the story is, there's some pacing issues at times, I think. It's not the actual story itself. It's sometimes just the pain.
Like, if you're not going to make a boss fight interesting, don't make it long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Basically, that's actually pretty much bang on, to be honest.
Honestly, I think that when it comes to story, I think that if they wanted to add complexity and difficulty for people who are far more talented with the button pressing than I am, then why don't they do what a lot of other games do, which is have the ability to activate progressively more difficult, like they have in Fractals, right? They have mechanics that they can bake in, that they can make it more difficult and more challenging, and they could have loot rewards and titles and a whole myriad of achievements for people who love to be challenged. And then us noddies like me, who just want to press the buttons, roll fists across the keyboard, boss fall over, move on to the next part of the story. The kind of a happy medium, right? That's my This is the unicorn part of the document where I say, "Daddy, I'd like a pony, please."
Yeah, well, I've written. Well, I actually did. You have a look at the unicorn? Did you have a look at the document?
I did. I think we all did.
I have it up right now.
Well, Crichton, did you actually have a look at the document of that I put into the Discord?
I did. I've got it open on my screen.
Oh, so that's why you said unicorn. I was like, I actually wrote unicorns in there.
There's a unicorn there.
I did. I wrote like a final mastery inline discussion. What would you compliment? What would complement EOD? And then I put unicorns ? What would you love to have? And there you go. That's actually very true. Yeah. We moved on technically.
See, I tried to tie it back to the thing after derailing us 15 times. So there you go.
Okay, so the bot. There's loads of possibilities. We're excited, kind of. I think part of me is like, this is the thing they're holding on to as the last reveal thing. I'm like, it better be good. It will hopefully be good. If it doesn't interest me massively, that's okay. But I think if it's not fantastic, that could have been the siege tail or something. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could have been fishing, or it could have been a skiff. Because those are all like, whoa factor things. They're all like,
yeah,
Guild Wars 2, End of Dragons, sail a skiff, fish a bit, and also ride a turtle with cannons and stuff. But also, there's this bot thing.
Yeah, this seems like shrouded in
You
so
know
much
what?
mystery that it's like, should this have been the last thing? Like, you're putting a lot of faith in this mastery line when it's like, I think everyone objectively would agree that like announcing the siege turtle as the last thing would have been like, what?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Multiplayer mount, combat,
Exactly.
shooting jade
That's
cannon.
the first one. Yeah, absolutely. Like that would have been an absolute knockout of the park. Damn, that's
So-
awesome.
I hope
hate
it's
to-
a cool tool.
Yeah, I hate to drag on my fellow Lightbringers here, but all the interesting things that we have come up with, none of them are kind of like show-stopping, expansion-making awesomeness.
Unless
Wow,
you
Crying
can
Herald
like,
just rubbishes all of our ideas. Wow.
or, like you summon the thing and then it scans your body and you become a Tengu.
Well, you know what? Yeah. Oh, actually, disguising you as other races and things could be quite cool,
No,
like a hologram.
or like to get into like a Jade Brotherhood hideout. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You could
like
use
a
it in some
MacGyver.
situations.
It could be like a MacGyver bot. Wait, do you know what MacGyver is, Kroof?
Definitely. He lives down the
Yeah.
street. We talk to each other all the time.
It teleports you into a private apartment. It's your butler for your private
Ooh.
apartment.
Oh, see, if
Player
it was
housing.
player
Yes.
Butler
housing.
robot.
Yes.
Imagine if it was player housing though, like, and it took you maybe, no, it could be though.
It
could be
shrinks you
something.
into it, and it's a little bauble house that you can decorate.
Oh my god! Yes.
No, that's
And then-
not what it's gonna be. There's no way.
And then player housing could be anywhere in the world. Because you could be standing in a raid, and then you like pop into your player housing to get some things, and you pop out.
Yeah,
I mean,
but not in
look,
combat, then.
that would be
What about
amazing, and
convenience?
I would be excited.
Yeah.
But I cannot imagine
No.
that's what it is.
Clockwork
you know,
City,
I
ESO, they do
wish.
it in there. Clockwork City,
Yeah,
you get shrunk down.
we are we are the Pokemon, and that is our Pokeball.
Oh God.
I
I'm
mean,
already
I
trapped in
honestly
a
think
ball.
I could be. I think I could be like, okay, the inventory manager and or the
Your manager just sits
Well,
there
like-
and tells you when you're encumbered. Sort your
No,
bags out,
I-
motherfucker.
I gave an example for this. I gave an example for this earlier where you could almost determine like preset behavior for it. So like you
Yeah.
could go into it and you could give it different, like assign different things, right? Like if this is in my inventory, deposit to bank. If this thing, like, list at lowest price on market board. Like that's a lot of stuff they would have to figure out. But
Yes. it
if
is.
there was a way to do something like that, that
Uh-huh.
would be a pretty massive thing for me. I think a companion could also be a pretty massive expansion feature. We've seen many other MMOs feature it recently. I liked that at least with ESO's realization, they gave like the companions personalities and like companion
Oh, you give
quests
them a
and
story
stuff
as
you
well.
can
when
do with
you
them
had
and
to
like a
get them.
story.
Yeah.
So
good.
like I like all of that, and that could be something that would be really big and would change how a lot of people are able to engage with this game. Beyond that, do I think that most of the other just like basic functionality stuff is expansion shattering? I don't even know if those necessarily are. But I mean, if as long as it, I think, packs enough of a punch and isn't just like, and then there's a cute robot and he makes a little fun noise and he'll do a disco laser show. As long as it's not just that, I think I'll be okay. But we'll see, because I do think it needs to be something kind of big to be where it is and to
It
be
does, I
hidden
think.
for so long.
I do really think it should be, because if it's not,
I've had an idea.
they've got the release date. At least that's why they put the release date with it. Then they can just be like, talk about that, then talk about the release date, and then it'll be okay. Because, sorry, Karen.
No, go. You guys were talking about, so in Final Fantasy, in ESO, there are side things. So there's the casinos, there's the card games, there's the fashion pole dancing and stuff, right?
Wait,
that's only
what?
Final Fantasy.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wait,
Final Fantasy and its courtesans, yes.
Wait, you can pole dance in Final Fantasy?
Let's say there are ways you can make it happen, but there is canonically a pole dancing housing furnishing item now, and there is also a club that has pole dancers in it. So while they have not yet released a pole dance emote or interactable object, There are ways you can make it happen.
Come on, Guild Wars 2, you better get on that. Find your niche. Find your niche and fill it.
ERP section of Final Fantasy 14.
Final Fantasy
that's
is just
okay.
a thirst trap, okay? That is what it is, okay? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Kinky stuff aside, the idea is, what if it is a companion, like our minions, but the little cute things that run around? But what if it's an introduction of a new game type whereby the minions can have their Pokemon battle modes?
Oh, like
Pet
in World of
battles?
Warcraft.
Yes, pet battles.
Oh!
That could be, so this could be the introduction of changing the mechanics of all the minions, so that different minions have different abilities, and it's a whole new sort of side collection game type.
PvE dueling with minis.
Maybe there's a little like robo combat arena.
Oh!
Polymorph.
Oh my god!
Interesting.
You know, in Elder Scrolls Online, they've got the antique thing where you dig up antiques from around the world, and what's it called? Oh my god!
Antiquarian.
Yeah, it's not antiquing because that's the thing where you throw flour at people.
I know, because I was obsessed with it and power
Yeah,
levels.
I am as well. Yeah, I'm one item away from getting like a mount at the moment, but this item won't drop from the dungeon. It's annoying. But like, you basically you excavate, you find a clue to something which is buried, and then you basically you have this detection device, and you summon it, and it just points you in this direction. It's a little bit more intricate than that. You need to get the actual clue first, and then you go and dig it up, and there's a whole mini game behind it. Like, it's a mini game, like, and it's a good mini game. It's not just like, take your trousers off, put them back on. It's literally. So I was thinking about something easy.
My, oh my.
Well, because the idea is that you're basically an archaeologist,
Yeah.
right? So they implemented into all of the zones these little like items that are relevant to the lore and history of those areas. And like, as you dig them up, the Antiquarian Guild will like give you more information about them. And then there are these like special rare relics and housing items and cosmetics
There's
and mounts
legendary
and...
weapons and mounts and specific armor pieces, and it's such a good idea. And like, they're introducing those things is just, they do it so good. Like, it feels like you're playing something else in the game, like, completely. Like, it's just so good. And the card system as well, it's just, and that is what I want in Guild Wars 2. I want to have a mini game inside the game which can really pull you in and be like, even if you don't want to run around in the game, something else that can pull you in where you're like, I don't have to run around and I have to do this. I can just chill in this area with my friends, play this card game, play this whatever, a little bit like, what's it called? Assassin's Creed, the Valhalla, the Viking one. Anyway, but they've got the game in there. There's just all these kind of mini games. I'm really hoping that could be a thing, couldn't it? It could be like, maybe it could be.
Well, I don't think they've
Sorry,
really talked about
my
it.
ideas in my head are just going off on one, and I'm just saying
I mean,
words now.
They haven't really talked about adventures in this expansion, and adventures have been a part of every single expansion.
True, that is their mini game, right? I guess.
Yeah, maybe they would incorporate it into a new adventure type with, like, Jade Gyros and like pet battles or some sort of polymorph situation. I wonder if they're gonna do adventures this expansion. They kind of weren't really put a lot of emphasis on in Path of Fire, but anything can happen. Skiff racing.
A few people are saying Sab in chat. The one thing I would say about the game types that we do have in is that, why don't we just have them all year round? Why does it have to be a festival event?
Oh,
right?
you go for unicorn moment again.
Yeah. Daddy, I want a pony. Please.
Oh, there you go. I think that's fine. Just as an update as well, Boots is sold out. Boots has got a YouTube video, and it's called Is Guild Wars 2 worth playing in 2022? He did it. He did do it. He's done it. That's it. That's it.
Well done, Boots.
He's there. He's there now. We'll talk about that next time.
I mean, you helped sell out Jebro as well.
I mean, I
There
did
was
it
much
as
to blame.
I did the episode as a more of a satire kind of funny thing, but with actual facts and stuff. That's true.
I've interviewed Boots. He's lovely. He's super lovely.
He's been here many times. He is He's a legend indeed. Go and watch his video. Do it now.
We talked about polyclonal trees. That's what we talked about. Woohoo. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lit.
As long as you're having fun. Lit. Yes.
There is context if you would like to know it. But no.
For now, I think I'm going to push us on. But I was
Thank you very much.
Also laughing about the fact that I don't know if I will ever use lit in a conversation ever, because I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm an American now. I feel like I should be
Hang
saying
around
it
me a
more.
little bit. We'll get you saying it every day.
A little bit. If I hang out with you for like 4 hours every Friday. Like, is that not enough? Is that enough? Not
Every
enough
day,
time?
4 hours. You got to train in the ways.
In
The day in the lit.
The day of the lit. Yes. Okay. The only thing I had to do with lit in it was English lit, and that's it was different. That was very different. English lit in it. Sorry.
Oh no.
English
We need
lit.
to- No. We need to move on to the next section now. I'm going to move us
on a
forward.
I was
Tuesday.
being a typical London
What's
boy.
your schedule like?
In it, mate.
Yes, stop.
I was
I'm
learning how to
from-
speak Roadburn, which is fascinating. You should all Google that. Anyway,
Okay.
carry on.
So, what are we most excited about with End of Dragons?
The mastery of this game.
Birds. Look at the birds.
This is one of those podcasts where I need to get to the bathroom a lot. Because I'm laughing. I don't really, it's okay. It's okay, chat, calm down. And you're not saying
Is
anything.
this an actual topic?
Let's talk about how much Jebro has to go to the bathroom.
No.
I felt like this time
Can I use the restroom?
And most of
can I
the
use
time,
the
it's going to
restroom
tell
real
people
quick?
to shut the fuck up, or like to like actually just answer
I'm
my
gonna use
door.
the
It's
restroom real quick,
Fridays.
teacher. I'll be right back.
I also love how many times Jebro was like, now, we don't curse for an X, we don't curse on it. And then Jebro 2 seconds ago just drops that big ol' F-bomb right here.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
did.
if
You
I
said
tell
it.
other people not to do it,
Then you do it anyway.
I
is
lessen
what I
it.
think the end of the sentence was.
yeah, but
Okay.
that because Fornax sold so much, like I can't fit
sorry.
mine in. I
so
just can't
sorry.
fit mine in. There is a certain amount that I'm allowed to swear. Okay, Rook. Right? I have a little marker. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got
Okay.
7.5. It's the magic number.
As long as you've got your system,
Yeah,
you know.
I do. It's a reliable system that I rely upon.
Sorry, I'm not safe to be let out. I apologise.
Yeah, I forgot you were. Rick's always they're all going after me all the time. I'm just here to facilitate in failure. It's okay. I've got to run group counselling in a couple of months. That's going to be fun. Can you imagine doing
You'll
that?
have a
with
lot
kids?
of experience from running podcasts. It's basically the same thing, I think.
Yeah, it's true, but they're children. They're actual children. So I guess I feel like maybe I have got quite
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of
I feel like
experience.
we behave like children
As
a fair
Krush
amount.
does what they're currently doing.
That's a
Damn,
nice
that is
calf.
like, look at that. That
Oh,
there was a muscle there.
that
Hello?
was some 15th century gentleman's calf display right there, if I have ever seen one. That was rude and lewd, and I am into it, crew.
I got good calves.
Turn that calf out. Nice.
Turn the
What?
calf out.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Turn out
Some
the
of
calf.
you have to have noticed that in historical paintings of gentlemen, oftentimes when they are wearing fancy socks and heels, they oftentimes stand with one leg
Yes.
turned out. That is because, no joke, real history fact
no,
right
I
now,
know,
calves
yeah,
were
yeah.
considered to be an incredibly attractive part of men.
Well, that's also because
And
they didn't
so-
show much else off, right? Because there was
True.
hardly any skin. So it's like
You would show off your beautiful calves. Even in like dueling salutes, you would oftentimes turn your leg out so that your enemies were just very distracted and or aroused simultaneously.
They're like, damn, bro, that calf.
Oh my god, that calf. That's
Critical
awful.
hit.
Let me bring a little bit of spice to the podcast.
Anyway, sorry, what were we talking about?
I hope there's a lot of calf turning out in End of Dragon.
Gonna see Aureen's calf.
No, she's my daughter. I can't have those conflicting feelings. No.
Okay.
There's no cap turning out from Maureen. Only appropriate,
It's gonna
wholesome
be
opinion.
Bram. It's gonna be Bram. That's all it is now.
Yeah.
That's bad too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's why Ender Dragons is gonna be a failure. Because Bram's there. So okay.
So, okay, we have Kargery leading the charge on this,
Okay.
which is why End of Dragons is going to be a resounding success.
Argery. No, it's Masmir.
Oh, that sounds so bad when you say it.
What? It sounds much better. What was yours? Mesmere sounds good.
Masmir.
Yeah.
Sounds like pap smear.
What does yours sound? What?
Or Margie. Or Margemere. It's like margarine.
Mine is
Hey,
No,
yeah, everyone needs a good
it's
pap
not.
smear in their life. Y'all gotta keep up on your health. You know, get your Casmeres.
Cat scans.
Get your
Yeah, I'm just gonna go
get
down
your
the road and get a
Masmeres.
cat scan. Not in America, mate.
cat
Fucking
scan.
hell.
Oh,
I have to Google now pap smear. Hang on.
You don't have to. It's a medical procedure.
I feel like most people should know about this, but like,
welcome to your health class.
yay. What are you
Oh.
most excited for End of Dragons?
Kargery. I'm gonna actually put that forward. I am
Okay.
very excited about Kargery and End of Dragons. I'm also incredibly excited about more Aureen, and it seems like maybe she's going to take more of an active stance versus, what we saw in Icebird Saga. So I love that. I can't get enough of her. I love the dragons. I can't wait for a bit of culmination about their story and lore, and or what the future might hold if there really is, like Glint foresaw, a future of peace that could be reached. Cantha. I'm excited to see Cantha.
Yeah.
What
Are you
else?
scared that the end of Dragons is going to be the end of Aureen?
Don't you say that here. Don't you say it here. No, I'm not scared.
I mean, all the other legendaries are of dead dragons. So.
Okay, Kroof, you get out too. You get out too.
Oh, shit.
I
Oh, no.
can't.
Death
can't
to
with you.
Maureen! What? Sorry.
mean,
Did I say that loud?
Look, I can see
I
them
don't want
pulling
Maureen to
some-
die, I'm sorry.
I could see them pulling some sort of like, and then she becomes one with the universe and replenishes the earth.
It's called End of
Okay,
Dragons. I mean, it's not called of End of Dragons, but Aureen, is it? So, I mean,
Oh, damn.
maybe Aureen comes. Sorry about your face.
needs to die.
They are not going to do that. They already pulled the she's dead beat. They're not going to actually kill her. Like,
She's
I
a
can't imagine-
deadbeat.
No, they pulled the she's dead beat.
All right, yes. It's like, wow, all right. I mean, I said she was going to die. She's going to a deadbeat before she's even dead. I was like, maybe she deserves to die.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Fornax, it's possible. I believe it's more metaphorical though, in the sense of like the end of the dragon story arc and or the end of the threat we thought they posed. I personally, because I love dragons, really don't want to see this go the route of like, and then all the dragons forever were dead. And any dragons on the planet too also dead because they all returned back to energy in the planet and now there's no more. Because that would rob the world of a whole lot of sparkle, fantasy, and magic for me. But I like to maybe believe that it means that there's a new horizon for dragons and or whatever is unique about Aureen, and like specifically about a future lineage that she herself could start, or I personally think that I hope for that because I love them so much.
Okay.
I gotta say that I really want to know why they rose up and kind of seized the reins of magic and Tyria, because all the stuff in the game talks about returning the cycles of nature back to normal, that they subverted them somehow, and perhaps we can find out why they subverted them, the reason for that, so that rather than the smash murder murder hobos that MMOs can be, that we can actually like discover why they did this thing so that we can actually put the balance right back.
You say murdering hobos?
That's what you play as a in MMOs. You play a murder hobo, right? You go around, you murder things for people, and you are effectively homeless, apart from if you have like Final Fantasy house. 20% of my gameplay right there. Just, saying. But my unique take on MMOs, not good. This is why I just like do scripts.
You say this like there isn't, like, I know so many creators that only do housing design. I know so many.
There's many people who do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your unique take is great. And as long as
it's very unique.
Like, aggressively lift you up today, Foreign Axe. That's my.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Okay, so are you looking forward to murdering dragons in End of Dragons? Is that what you're saying, Karen?
No, God, no. I'm right with Rook. I hate killing stuff in games. Right? I get guilty killing the tigers. Right?
You feel guilty killing tigers?
It does not make any sense. They are not real. I understand this, and yet I don't want to kill tigers. I don't know why.
One day they're going to be someone's NFT, and they'll be very real. I own this tiger. No, you don't. You're in the space next to the tiger. Okay, cool.
Oh, God. Okay, I'd be happy to kill NFTs if they set up a game like that.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if Guild Wars... No, actually, it's not imagine that world.
I gotta say, I'm pretty excited. I definitely have shifted my focus from like criticism to just excitement. And despite how I feel,
you've been excited the whole time. You're just critical in a respectful way.
Right. I really am excited for.
Okay.
I agree with that sentiment. I really do agree with that. But I am very excited for the story because I want this to wrap up with a long and neatly wrapped bow. I want to have a full experience with the narrative and to actually feel like this whole 10-year-long story has been done justice. I'm really excited about the meta events and the way that they've been talking about it. Oh, damn it. I had it in my hand, but I didn't. Okay. Anyway. And I'm also
in your apartment today.
There's a lot of mosquitoes. I think the mosquitoes are hatching, but I'm also really excited about strike missions to have endgame content, and I really want to play them. And the elite specs are from the last beta, they are better. So I definitely think that there are some in there that I will be playing. So overall, I'm excited about those things.
I also saw new fashion, which is huge. Yes, I want them to have put so much gear into all the new stuff in Cantha. So yeah,
I am looking forward to. I think the story is a big one. I think the strikes. I think just like league specializations are always my thing the most, but I think this time I am. I'm excited about them because I get to make build videos again without like dredging up core engineer builds and just rinsing them apart and just trying to think of how I can make bomb kit viable in PvP. But other than that, it's like I think the thing I'm most excited for really is just the change of the game generally and of the landscape of Guild Wars 2 and just like. Hopefully the change of the future of how they're going to engage us, they engage new players and things generally. I think it's just the whole buzz around the game. I think that's what gives me the energy to revisit things, to just play the game in ways that I don't normally play it and with masteries. And I think that energy and that we're going to feel on launch day is something that I really enjoy, like that hype and enjoyment and excitement, which is what I did when I shoutcasted. It was always about that energy and excitement, and then that is the feeling behind it. even if the content isn't exactly what we want, like when it comes to it and the story isn't there and, you know, there are 3 bits and bobs missing, I'm just looking forward to release day, like the actual day when it comes out and all the hype around it. Like that is almost enough for me sometimes, and that's almost worth like the amount of money you pay, which might sound a bit silly, but like it's just my thing. I just like that. But I don't know, I think there's a lot. I've enjoyed doing this like podcast all the way up to now. I know that like
After this, you're done.
yeah, I'm done. I mean, that's the thing. Like, what happens then? I mean, we're just gonna. I mean, what are we gonna talk about? There's loads to talk about. We are gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about everything.
Basically, everything that we have been doing leading up to End of Dragons, we're going to copy and paste the same sequence of what we talked about, but now with knowledge of what it was like.
Well, I'm gonna do one podcast on each class, so there's at least like, you know, the elite specializations, and then there's gonna be one podcast on fishing in each map in Guild Wars. So that's pretty much 7 years of future content because there's like 60 plus maps, so it's going to be fine. Well, that's only a year and a bit, so maybe not 7 years, but I don't know. There's a lot to look forward to. I think it's going to be exciting, and I'm hoping that we get that trailer next week, hopefully as well. That's what I'm looking forward to. Or like just the release date. I just want to know that date. I don't know. It's been... We've heard, we know so much, and there's just one thing that we need to know ultimately, and I'm going to stop talking about that. Is there anything else people are really like looking forward to that are just like, whoa, I cannot wait, this is going to be the big thing? What about chat? Are you excited? What are you excited for the most in thingy End of Dragons? Let us know in the chat, and if you're in the comments on YouTube, you've got 3 hours into this podcast and you're still watching, you know, leave a comment. What are you looking forward to the most in End of Dragons? Like, tell us all the things. There you go. Specs, alliances. There you go. Turts.
I think for me personally, the thing that I'm looking forward to outside of the story is just exploring the maps. They make such beautiful environments, and I just love getting lost in them. I love taking screenshots. And finding all the little Easter eggs and throwbacks. I love that exploration.
Wow.
I can't wait for fishing. We didn't even talk about fishing in the skiffs, but even the idea that we can explore maps now, like you were saying, just get to go through and like see new things, but to also be able to go back around and do skiffs and hang out and get to fish even on old maps and interact with the water in a different way. I'm really looking forward to how that will broaden the things that we can do and interact with on maps.
Do you think that they'll do, so we have race courses for our mounts. Do you think they'll do race courses for the skiffs? Do you think that could be a thing that they do, racing around the maps on your skiffs and maybe doing a mastery so you can go faster? Don't you have to do emotes and stuff to make the mount to make the skiff go faster? So you'd have to have a team. You'd have a team of people. That'd actually be pretty
fun,
cool.
Honestly.
Yeah. Good. Fishing competitions. Yeah, they've got those fishing competitions in World of Warcraft. They've had fishing competitions. Elion has events where it summons you to an area and you can basically compete with people on a mini leaderboard for that session, and you go do that, and then you get XP and you get gold and stuff, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you can do that. Why not? Let's do it. You can do it with like flipping a stream. No doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that someone's going to do a fishing competition. Okay, ideas.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Lightbringer's fishing comp.
Do you guys think that they will allow the siege turtles in World v World? Because I play a lot with the World v World, and people are just dying for them.
I hope eventually. I mean, they've said that they're not planning to, at least now, but I think they would be fun. I don't know. I just think they would be a great addition. It's like if you have some sort of game mode in which you can siege buildings and then you have a mount that literally can do that and does that in events, to me, it just makes sense that you would make that something. I don't know if that would really upset the balance of stuff. I don't know if like they would need to put other limitations on using them within World versus World, but I think it'd be super fun.
I mean, they could just have like siege weekends where this weekend, all bets off, siege turtles are in, go and tear up the place. I think that people would love to.
Way to test it.
Yeah, because my mother-in-law plays a lot of Guild Wars 2, I introduced her. And she's in a 1v1 guild and they raid every day. And they're always wanting and looking for new and interesting things to do and trying different tactics. And I think that it would give a whole new dynamic to open up the gameplay for these like dedicated players who don't get as much love as they should from the dev teams because they just haven't had the time, you know?
Yeah, it would be cool to see them. I mean, they're getting alliances. Jesus.
What about a siege turtle?
I mean, the siege turtle would be cool. I think that they can do special events. I honestly do. I don't get why this hasn't been a thing more so. Like just being like, okay, we've got these mounts, we've got these things. They do the no down, like, immediate down event and all that kind of stuff. Just pop gliding on for everyone in every area for the week. Pop like, any mount you want to use for the week. Imagine just like gliding in with flipping like sky scales just for like a day and like just harassing people and stuff and like drive like, get that flying guild. What are they called? The flying guild. Here we go. They come in, get the cannons, etc. It would just be sick. I think it'd be fun.
Or like the airship that you can command to come and bombard the castle. Like you board the airship and then you get like a parachute and you all like parachute down.
Exactly. We've already got the mechanic. We've already got the mechanic in the game because you do it in flipping Drizzlewood. All right.
Maybe they could have like a wild card map where you have their normal maps and then you have a wild card map. And
we call it the Crichton Herald map.
They could do that with Heart of the Mists. I mean, Heart of the Mists doesn't get used often, so just have that be the fun game mode where all bets are off. You parachute in, you use a siege turtle, you have a raptor that I don't know, maybe.
Oh yeah, everyone would be in there, and then then they could test it. Yeah, why don't they do that? It literally doesn't make any difference. It doesn't. Does it actually do anything? It's just there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you leave the core gameplay alone so that they can have their battles of kingdoms, but you have just a map where anything goes. It's just like a wild ride.
Battle of Kingdoms.
New game title.
I know.
Yes, I think all that would be very good. I did see in the chat somebody saying, sorry, while this was all happening, I was simultaneously getting taken apart in the chat for my chaotic World versus World Alliance play that I did this past week.
Wait, what did you do?
Nothing. I did very good at World versus World, and I always followed my commander, and I did all the things.
You were you commanded in World v World?
No, I followed the commander.
Smart.
You didn't, did you?
Were you doing Zerg or were you doing Havoc? Were you doing Havoc or Zerg?
I did play World versus World. I don't know.
I participated.
Rook ran around, died, stood back up.
Look,
yeah, I actually was watching you a little bit. You were doing well. You were healing people and stuff. You were playing Druid.
I did good. Yeah. I did Firebrands. I did so good.
I thought you did Druid. What the thing you were doing Druid?
I did a really good job. Sorry. And don't listen to chat about what they're saying. I can't help it if any commander that runs past me with a tag, my natural instinct is just to follow them, even if somebody else is taking the time out of their day to really kindly try to help lead me around the map.
Wait, so you followed a different commander while someone on the map was trying to command for you in your community? And they took the time out to do it, and you followed someone else, and you followed them the whole day, the whole time.
Not the whole day.
And there's just like two people hanging out with them, and they're like, "Yeah, Rook's with me. It makes me feel good." And then they're like, "Oh,
Deborah, I don't need this. I don't need this from you. I don't need this from you right now." It was more than two people with them, and I eventually got back there. But look, some things happened.
That's why that's why you need that mastery.
Dude, it's super easy to get like bamboozled and just to be like, where the fuck is my group? Why? And I'm like, there's a tag here. Where are my people?
Stop trying to defend Rook.
Thank you. No, I'm gonna let Fornax defend me. You know what?
You don't let people defend you. That's not how defending works.
I'm going to accept it.
I'm going to employ them.
Okay.
I'm going to force Rook to accept my defense.
All of this to say, I think alliances are going to open up the gateway for many people like myself who have not done much World versus World, clearly, as you can all tell on this podcast, to actually really want to engage with it. And I think that adding in fun bonus days like that would make sense. You know I saw in chat that somebody was like, I suggested why not just do roller beetles one day at the end of the month or something. And apparently the World versus World community, at least in that thread, was very against it. But I think that sometimes you have to just make little shifts or changes or try stuff out, add a little something new in, make sure that like, yes, the primary focus is still that thing that people love about a game mode and that you're still supporting that and actively, you know, building on that. But yeah, I don't see why they couldn't do a weekend where you could use Siege Turtles, especially with it just being something that makes absolute sense in that game mode. And I think you'd even see more people who wanted to go in and ride around on the turtle with their friend who wouldn't necessarily want to go into World versus World otherwise. So I think that the more we make it accessible and we keep expanding how people can connect and group up in it, then that's the most important thing, because you need a healthy population to have that content continue to be supported. So,
I mean, I honestly, I hope that they just introduce a map, if nothing else, that reflects the new aesthetic of Cantha, right?
I wanted that so bad. The battle isles.
Well, I'm glad that everyone's happy and they will get their things maybe. Okay. I think we're going to call it. I think that's good. That's a good time. Free gone for 3 hours. Oh, I was going to ask if we really feel like the competition with other MMORPGs is going to, or other games in February is going to have any kind of impact on Guild Wars 2's release. And I think a lot of the time when we talk about, you know, other games competing with Guild Wars 2, blah, 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 is a lot to do with like not having a release date, rather than if people are going to play Guild Wars 2, they're going to play it. I think it's going to screw them over for new players, because I think that's what this is always about, isn't it? It's always about new players, people coming in because they might be playing something else, which is highly likely. Are you still arguing about this? Don't feed the trolls, Rook, okay? Just feed them. Just trying to feed him.
Sorry, I'm usually very good, I'm usually very professional. I try not to let the chat show, but the chat's making me laugh right now. You're all doing great. Also, you gotta stop doing this.
It's okay. I'm just joking, chat. Calm down. It's just a joke.
Don't mind me. Yes, let's wrap up. We've been going for 3 hours, but it's been a very good talk, everyone.
Okay.
Talk.
See, we didn't need another cast to talk about. We could just shoot the shit very happily.
Yeah. Honestly, yes.
Oh yeah, always. That is true. There isn't I said any other business, but I don't know. Yes, get some rest and drinks. Do you know, my week has been a nightmare. I can't even. It's been so crazy. No, it's not. It's not a nightmare. It's been good. I've just got a lot of kids now, and it's a lot. Okay, I've got exams that I'm just studying for, and work and streaming, and it's just so much stuff. We're all doing lots of stuff. Yay! Okay, so to our guests, thank you very much for watching and coming for watching. For I think you had to watch Discord in the chat at times. Thanks for coming on the podcast where we talked about everything again. There was some fine tuning and areas where we talked about specific things that may have bounced around a tiny bit from place to place. Oh, there's a dog.
Sorry, that's my puppy. Yeah.
Oh my god, don't show your face cam and you've got a dog?
It's a Pomeranian as well. He's beautiful.
I have a Pomeranian.
Wow.
Oh.
I miss dogs. Okay. First of all, Crichton Herald, Fornax, welcome back. Thank you very much for coming. Sell yourself a little bit before we go.
Thank you for inviting me. I love coming on the show. It's really lovely. You guys are awesome. I'm the Crichton Herald. I make lore and YouTube videos. I've just released one today. Please go watch it. That's it. Thank you.
It's called Sandwiches Interior.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Not so
I'm
great.
not gonna lie. I would watch that video. I would watch it.
So would I. I actually need to probably make that, and Crichton Herald can be a guest.
No, it's about Sylvari lore. So if you're interested
Oh,
in
right,
the lore
okay.
of the Sylvari,
So instead of
then
sandwiches,
go
it's
and
just
have a look.
salads.
It's salad.
Salad. Yes, just salad. Yeah.
The Story of
no
Guild Wars
meat.
2 Dark Tales of the Sylvari Part 2. So there is a Part 1. Watch Part 1,
Yeah.
then watch Part 2.
Which is the personal story. This is my recap of all the story for everyone, so that you don't have to play through it all before we go into End of Dragons. That's the idea.
Oh, okay. That's
you
nice.
go.
That's a good idea. Cool.
Milliseconds of genius, yeah.
Go-
Dispersed by decades of mediocrity, but carry on.
Okay. The Crichton Herald on YouTube. Go follow them. You do mostly, it's YouTube you do mainly, isn't it?
Yes.
You thought I was never going to invite them back? Why? I forgot how poorly behaved Fornax is on the podcast, so I'd forgotten. But now I'm reminded again. So maybe a while. Fired.
Feels bad,
Everyone
man.
gets
Thank
fired
you
each
so
week.
much.
Everyone is fired. It's all about,
It's not a good stream if someone isn't fired.
yeah.
It's true. It's not quality then. We might as well just like end it if nobody
Yeah.
gets fired.
Yeah. And it all.
When are you gonna fire yourself, Deborah?
It's just, that's silly. Griff.
When are you gonna retire?
I'm just gonna retire. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, the Lightbringers podcast is no more. Just like our favorite char. Okay. Also, I'm gonna talk about that in a minute, actually, afterwards. Griff. Things.
Hi. How are y'all doing?
Brooke, things.
Damn. Right.
How are you all doing?
Hi everyone. So like, my name is Groove. I like doing YouTube videos, and sometimes I stream here. I post a couple like really cool like looking back at Guild Wars 2 before it launched videos, and they're short. So like, if you want to go watch them, you can. I have other videos I'm working on. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
What? Go in the description. I'm having a heart attack. I'm having a small heart attack. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm just like, what is happening to Griff? Are they okay?
I'm glad. Thanks
This
for
is
having me. That's
Groove.
great.
This is Groov's new content creator persona, Jebro.
This
Show
is
some
my
support.
moment. This is my moment, Jebro. And you tarnished it.
I'm gonna fire Jebro.
And you fired me today. I'm just gonna say that, right? You fired me today.
Yeah. Pink slip.
Fuck you very much, Deborah.
I didn't hear the swear word. Sorry, it would cut out. But
You should probably say it again just to be
no,
sure.
you should. No, I'm pretty sure it said buck, like wild buck. You can send me
Next
one.
time your testicles will not be safe.
That's a long
don't know.
reach you have right there.
I don't know which one is worse or better, the curse word or a threat against testicles. I don't know. I'll let chat decide.
No
Tune
vote.
in next time to find out. Yeah.
Yes. Will Jebro's testicles survive? Till next time. Oh, we can have a poll. We'll have a poll during the border one. That can be the other donation goal. Yeah, for a poll.
Not again. Nick, you have to have better
No, Rick.
timing, Nick.
You
No, Rick.
gotta come in when we're being appropriate, which is maybe never, but you have to try and aim for the moments.
Wait, what?
Peak time.
What? You
Peak
do-
time within 20 to 40 minutes of the podcast. After that, it's hell world.
Wait, when is it appropriate? It's not
accurate.
appropriate ever. This is never appropriate. It literally started inappropriately. We were talking about balls
That's
within the first
true.
minute. Like, it was literally. I mean, we can go back. I can show it on stream
I'm
if you
sorry.
want.
I was talking about rice balls. So I want to be clear here that
No,
I
yeah, you may have been talking about rice balls, but Crown Herald is talking about something else.
Yeah. Well,
No,
I am
no balls
sure-
were harmed during the making of this pod.
Yeah, I was just talking
Thanks
about.
for
about
forgetting
that one.
about me. I'd like to stay under the radar, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I was asking basically. Sometimes I ask everyone what they would like a random question. The question today was: if you were in Kaineng City and you were at the dock, what Guild Wars 2 treat would you eat? And
I
Rook
said I would like
rice
to eat balls.
Technically, you said rice balls.
I mean, the
I
texture.
said Bram.
Yeah, Groove said Bram. Just eat Bram. I don't know.
I don't know what you see in him. I
Hey, I'm never
Yeah,
someone for
neither.
the personality. I'm a very superficial person. You know, everything's good.
you
But
just want
you
him
know
to be
what?
quiet.
Yeah, just don't talk to me and we'll be fine. Just sit there and shut up.
Well, at least I know what to send you in game now.
Thank
I'll
you,
send you a
Rook.
ball
Thank
gag.
you.
There you go.
I feel like Rook's like response to this is appropriate, and I'm just like, I don't know where we are now. Like, we talked about eating Bram, then you're like just telling him to shut up, and you're like, what are you cooking him? Are you doing the other thing that I'm thinking about, which I'm not happy about? And you're like, Bram doesn't deserve this, okay? Bram does not deserve this.
No,
He
Bram
does not.
absolutely deserves
He
this
does
and
not.
more.
He doesn't deserve
More.
anything.
Jebro, he would like it, and you know
Of course he would like it. I mean, not denying people's like, you know, ways of doing things, but like
I need fan fiction with group's consent. I need fan fiction with the group's consent.
Why
of
were we?
this
I was
scene.
literally talking about this yesterday on my stream. What is happening?
I don't know. I'm standing up
You were talking about doing Bram on your stream.
No,
That checks out.
someone asked me if I had to.
I hope you've got the
so-
mature
someone-
filter on your stream. I may say the 18. You haven't got that mature click
sure I
over
have.
18 thing on your stream. I do.
Anyways, it's the internet. We all are here for a good time, not a long time. But
Oh my god, I'm snorting. Please stop. What the hell is that? Come on, people.
Oh my god.
I've got a life to lead. Jesus.
I thought I was gonna get out of this podcast without being brought to the precipice of tears, and here we are again.
It's just weak.
Rook, where can we find you?
Nowhere, because I died on this podcast, so you will find no more content.
Yeah,
from
you've
me
just been
anywhere.
like renamed again to Dead Bird. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, I have a new rebrand coming, Dead Bird, and all you're gonna see is just me
Dead Bird
cry
that plays
laughing
checkers. Sorry.
and doing dramatic readings of Kroof X Bram fan fiction. So
That ERP is strong. That is true.
no,
Oh my
you
God.
can find me.
Sorry.
You can find me on the internet, Rookery, everywhere now. ROOKURI. On Twitter, there's an underscore. I just this past week had a video go up on YouTube. That's a new player, kind of a consolidated, edited cut of a new player orientation stream that we did recently, where we went around and answered. We leveled the character from 1 to 10, and we answered any and all questions any new players had in the chat about the experience. While I also just talked about getting started in the world. So we put that up. There's a lot of butts in that video. So if you're curious about butts or learning something about Guild Wars 2, you can check it out. Otherwise, I am always appropriate on my channel. Don't listen to these heathens. I am very, very pure
I don't even know what
and
heathen is.
innocent and good. So if you ever want to see me, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, sometimes Instagram, although I'm bad at updating it.
For all
Wait,
the
you have an Instagram?
Yeah, but I forget to update it all the time. I never put any pictures
Aw.
on there except for conventions. When I go to conventions, I do a huge dump of photos.
Yeah, it's like if you go on there, you can see Rook from like 7 years ago.
Yes, you can.
Follow her, follow Insta Maddie.
There you go. Sell that content. Sell it. Okay, I'm gonna put some Guild Wars 2 music in the background as we have a amazing exit with Farron's little tune in the background. Okay. Because it's always that kind of podcast. It's always a Farron mixed with Prickle Patch Hollow podcast. I don't know what that means. Podcast. It's the Farron cast. What? Yeah, that's not. Yeah, not allowed to do that. Anyway, if you're wondering about what I'm talking about, I'm not going to tell you. I'm
I
looking
am
at
wondering.
chat, not looking at anyone else. Well, I know you're wondering because you're filth.
Oh my god! Fuck you very much, dude.
Wow. Wow.
It's okay. Fornax though.
Shade rattle.
Hey, wait, whoa. Oh, steady on. There's no shade, okay? This is like... Wait, what are you telling me right now? You're telling me I'm wrong? Are you telling me I'm wrong? I am not wrong about this. Have you been on this podcast? Present today / last time. We're all filth. There is no getting away with this.
Wow.
What do you want me to say? It might as well be called the Filth Bringers, for all I know.
I'm gonna echo Fornax here and say maybe my first step. No, I must have said an obscenity at some point on this podcast. I don't know, but fuck you very much, Jebro.
There you go. Number 74. Kroof, it's up to you now. Who are you siding with?
How is it that I am the most British person here, and yet I am the least prudish? Especially you, Jack. Come on.
I'm not prudish. What are you talking about?
This has been super vanilla. I don't know. Maybe I am fucked up.
It has not been that.
This is super vanilla.
Oh, no. Wait. I didn't say you were fucked up. I said you were filth. I didn't say filth was bad. That's you there.
Dracula?
I did not. I do not filth shame. Okay.
Does anybody watch Dracula?
Yeah, but I think the
glamour, filth, horror.
The only possibility, the only outcome of this is that at some point we're going to have like a Darkbringers After Dark podcast episode where we just no holds barred. Just would you
all actually do that?
I would do it.
I would.
You would? All right. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do for this weekend? If people want to watch it, you're going to have to get the maximum reward from the Borderfon. I'm going to do it. We'll call it Darkbringers, but there will be, yes. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Oh! I'm gonna do it. What? Wait. But what would you, wait? This might need to be another time we talk about this. I don't know what we'll talk about specifically.
Twitch didn't allow the verbiage of Darkbringer.
Oh, interesting.
I tried to do it when Rook and I were doing the stream recap, just you and I, and it wouldn't allow Darkbringer.
It's true. I mean, there's a lot of topics we could talk about. We could talk about our favorite chips. We could talk about what characters we would want to get down with. We could talk. I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about. Just full, no holds barred.
Okay. All right. That's a reward.
There's more than that.
It's underscore at the end of Rookery, isn't it?
On Twitter. On Twitch, everywhere except for Twitter is just Rookery.
All right. Okay. People. I'm going to give you my outro now. And obviously, I love Fornax's face. Don't deny this, okay? Streaming everyone. And Fornax is awesome, and I'm very glad they came on here, especially the last minute. Fornax, I was like, you were the first person I asked, actually. I was like, oh, Fornax. Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't get sloppy seconds. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You never get that. You're like the first one.
Thank you.
You're very...
Thank you.
Yeah. If you would like to, on a serious note, thank you very much as well, everyone, for being here. Thank you for watching live. If you watched live, if you go to anchor.fm/JebroUnity, you're going to be able to find a ton. You're going to be able to find 35 episodes as well as this episode when it's up on Anchor and all the things, Spotify, etc. Tons of episodes, loads of things on there. We are at about, God, how many listeners have we got? We got quite a lot. It's quite a popular one. We got like 33,000 people listening to this. Well, 33,000 listens. Sorry, about like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So if you do want to support the podcast, go looking.
So sorry to every single one of you 30,000.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. it's like people enjoy the podcast. There's actually old ESO podcasts as well if you want to watch those. Listen to them. Sorry, can't watch them. Otherwise, I'm Jebro. Twitch.tv/JebroUnity. I do how I earn a living and how I am things are on Twitch and YouTube and Patreon and all the things. So if you do want to support the channel, I'll support me while I'm in internship, getting not paid at all, working with kids in counselling, mental health counselling. Muchly appreciated. I put a lot of work into the Lightbringers as well as our community, so it's massively appreciated. Other than that, you can just chuck a follow and you can join us on the stream live in the chat and hang out with us because you're all awesome. Twitter.com/JebroUnity. It's JebroUnity pretty much everywhere. Search for the Lightbringers podcast, you'll find it. It's in many places. Otherwise, beat of luck. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe best. It could be that word. Otherwise, go and follow our awesome creators. We had Rookery, we had Truth, and we also had the Grand Herald, aka Fornax, join us today in the episode 36. Guild Wars 2, basically, and End of Dragons. You may wave if you like.
I'm waving, I promise.
Your character is like still got their arms crossed.
Yeah, she's badass, yeah.
Badass.
Badass. Adorable. Oh. The ladies are adorable.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching the Lightbringers podcast. See you next time. Okay, we're still here. I just turned everyone down for a second.
I need just like a slew of Kroof sound effects that I can like trigger throughout stream.
We did it!
You are incredibly vocally talented. It's lovely.
Yes, yes, yes.
I had a blast today. It was
This is good.
fun.
It's good, everybody. It was nice to meet you, Fornax. It's great to hang and chat.
Yeah, it was lovely.
I had a great time. Every single time, it gets better and better. I get happier and happier. Jeffrey's just beaming with pride and beaming with happiness. It's
I
so
am very
good.
happy with this podcast. This is my time off of the week. Although I've got some fun, which I'm really looking forward to because I just need time to play games and not think about anything else. Thank you for joining.
You got
Getting
it.
hot.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
You got it. You take it one thing at a time. You keep doing amazing, doing important stuff.
Thank you.
I'm just
You
gonna be
are
a
as well.
cheerleader.
Everyone here is. You are all doing important stuff. Like we are all working our asses off doing things in life.
Nope, I'm not doing any important stuff at all.
Feel that.
I'm just enjoying my hobbies. That's what I'm doing.
Thank you for the compliment and praise, though. That's something I'm working on in counselling.
Yeah,
You're doing wonderful.
you're
Except-
amazing.
You're
You're
amazing.
inspiration. Keep working hard,
Work the house down in boots, Jebro. Yes.
but take care of yourself too. That's also.
Yeah, that's a very true statement, actually. That's a very true statement. This is my taking care of myself. There we go. With my friends on the podcast. That's pretty damn awesome. Okay. Right. Also, a thing is happening, is forming. There's a thing happening and forming. I put a tweet out on Twitter that was supported by lots and lots of awesome people about making community similar to kind of not hard stuck, but the kind of the opposite. It's more casual stuck, I guess. But like it's more like just a community full of like different ideas and different ways of being in the game, and also just being like really, really super inclusive, and just stay tuned for that kind of info. Many people want to get involved in it, and like we'll bring some things, and there might be a name that might be the podcast that might be affiliated with it. So you never know. So if you're interested, chat peoples as well, that might be happening soon. So just keep your eyes out. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the call and end the stream. But thank you very much, everyone.
Very intriguing.
Thank you all.
That was a vaguer than a vague thing. Well done, sir. That was, yes, inscrutable.
I shall see you all later.
I'll see you. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
I'll miss you until next week.
Ooh, big stream next week. Bye.
Oh yeah, shit.